T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
We're back, or at least I'm back. It's going for a Thanos there. I can't remember what the line was, though. It's like, dread it, run from it. It arrives all the same, or better yet, I arrive. I don't know where Rookie's at. He's being a real F slur. I just had him on the phone. Let's call him up. Doing this live. Get in here, F slur. People are listening to us live. You're on here live. Get on the stream, F slur. wait. He'll have to do the pirate R. He loves doing the R shit. No, it's not me flirting. Eric Juneteenth's on the brain a lot. Because I'm so passionate and derailing. Okay, here's the thing. I'm passionate about derailing the Rippaverse into bankruptcy. or through my purchasing power and commentary, scathing reviews of bad stuff, correcting the Rippaverse into a good product. Those are the two options Eric has. There are no third. I will bankrupt you or correct you, correct your behavior. So he's on the brain a lot because like he's this monster. You know, he's the puppet master. He's overshadowing our sector of comics, like it or not. And you know, what EVS doing Trashcast is just fucking every day he's taking an axe to the tree that is their jaw, just chopping out a little chunk, you know, delegitimizing him, making him more of a laughing stock. And so I think about what you did, Immortal Rising comic book. What you did. You are a little Leonidas, and if you watch enough of this channel, you know, like Leonidas got me into Hellenism as an interest. You know, I select Leonidas as an honorary, you know, metaphorical ancestor, regardless of actual lineage. So it's no laughing matter when I say you're a little Leonidas in the sphere going against the Xerxes, pompous arrogance that is Eric July, or Persia. And I want to do a video. I mean, I'm months late to directly address your shot across the bow, but yeah, I kind of want to dig into it. It's not the intent, so I don't know where the hell Abomination Age is. He has the link. He himself is being an F slur today. Because he messaged you like, is it 2 p.m. Central, which means 3 my time. So if he opts in at 3, cool. But he knew the deal. And I'm on a limited schedule today.
Well, you said 2:30, so that's why I was like, you know, getting ready for half an hour from now. But
I said,
oh, good.
Yeah, rookie interpret that like assistant to the regional, or it's like assistant regional manager. No, you're assistant to the regional manager. So he did it backwards, actually. No, you actually are the assistant regional manager. And he's like, oh, I'm just the assistant to, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, thank y'all for hanging out this afternoon or in the future.
Yes.
I gotta pull up some stuff. I don't know what we're exactly talking about, but I do have goodies for viewing pleasure. I just gotta pull them up. The trick is don't ever trust bookmarks on Twitter. Like, it's cool to utilize it. It's awesome. Mostly reliable. I've bookmarked lots of shit.
Rely on it.
I've bookmarked shit, and then I'm like, what the, where is this thing? I can't, and hopefully I liked the thing as well, so I can dig in my likes and find it. So I use my second account and message myself. I'm like, hey, Angus. And it's like, yeah, what's up, Angus? Like, hey, you're gonna like this, man. And then future me is like, man, I really did like that. Thanks, Angus. That's how it works. Let me check myself.
Check yourself or you wreck yourself.
There,
see if it'll pay off for you.
This I'll say this for Abomination AJ gets in here.
Okay.
But there's a couple. This one's great. I don't know if you've seen this. You might have. Jesus Christ. And then we'll address some. What are you doing? You get Tourette's?
I'm moving. I'm trying to wake myself up. I'm also just out of the shower. Just ate. I'm
out of the shower. That should be your wake up.
Well, yeah, but you know.
Body,
but I'm brain awake, but my body's not all the way awake. You know.
Yeah.
There's a little.
Also, aside from Immortal Rising, I've also been thinking about Keely Chow. Because I never know when he'll pop in my streams. But he's been a long time viewer. I was thinking of him because I watch Kings and Generals, which is a great military history channel if you have not watched. And one of the newest videos is, why did the Mongolians leave Europe? They're just keep
No,
marching
you pronounced
across.
it wrong. It's the Mongolians.
Fucking F slur.
Yes.
I was gonna say I was saying Keely Chow because he's Asian. I'm like, hey, stupid Mongolians. So the whole time I'm watching it, it's like, oh, the manga, like, Mongolians.
Mongolian.
Why'd you leave Europe?
Fucking Mongolian.
We have no walls outside Europe, you know.
Oh, don't you tear down my shitty wall.
I was just thinking about how brilliant that episode is because theoretically that meme can like live eternally. If the meme of Asians not speaking English good and people keep talking about Mongolians, like this meme can live
just
forever.
history in general, because then he's like, no, don't you say what I think you are, and you can tear down this wall. Ah!
I thought it'd be funny because Keely Chow is, I know he is Korean. I think I don't know if he's actually in LA.
I forgot that he actually is Asian because I thought I just like interpreted him as Asian and memed it that way, but he actually
Korean, is. And it's funny because all these, you know, they all look alike over there, but
yeah,
they think they don't, you know, silly.
Yes.
You know, the Japs, the Chinese, the Koreans, they're like, yeah, we different Asian. We all work different.
we all work different, you fucking freak.
Mongolians.
But real quick, DJ Greavy makes here says, Rook, is it tense being on the Physical Media show with Tom with all the Eric July stuff? Not at all. It's not like addressed there at all. There's no tension with any of that. Just doing the show like normal. If anything, my issue is having hot takes on the show. Somebody said I'm the lofty on the Physical Media show. I don't know if that's a compliment or not. Probably not. Because I watched Beverly Hills. I watched Beverly Hills Cop yesterday, and I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was an okay movie, but to me, it just seemed like a regular run of the mill movie. Like I've seen this type of movie a lot, it seems. So it's just with Eddie Murphy, and it was okay. Everybody didn't like that. That's got to be up here.
Oh, no. I'm like, oh yeah, like that's fine. But I'm like, no, I hate comedy, and I'm like, fuck, man, that's a good movie.
Yeah, see, to me, I'd even say the comedy is like it's okay, but you know, there was a few times that it was a little funny, but I didn't laugh that much either. So it's whatever. But no, but the people hate it when I say Gremlins. So it's because somebody in the chat said, "You think Con Air is better than Beverly Hills Cop?" I'm like, I think that Beverly Hills Cop is better than Gremlins. That's.
Well, that's actually that's a weird because that's even lower than Beverly Hills Cop. So
I was trying to give them a thing that like I really don't, so they don't misunderstand because they're saying I don't not like Beverly Hills Cop. I do not like Gremlins. Beverly Hills Cop's fine, and I love Con Air. There's a difference. Con Air's fun. Like there's a difference with some of the stuff.
Yeah. So let me get to this chat and I'll start showing some silly shit. There's not really I was just gonna bounce off of Abomination AJ mostly, and also not detract. So if he gets in here, we'll not detract. But it's funny. I'll just chat. Address you people. Address you even more so you give me money. But I'm gonna address you anyway. Also, don't let me forget, Rookie. I had a dream. All right, think of this. Yaira Winter dream. Keep that in your head. All right, chat. Hi. It got you till about 4:45. Then I'm gonna start getting dressed, not on camera, for work and leave. So, so we introduce says we live in a society. Mortal Rising comic book. Just looking. He doesn't know what to think. He's just like, oh man, what's going on here? Mongolians? Should I be concerned? Ladies and gentlemen, titty.
Yes.
Huh?
I don't know what that's referring to, but all right. But because we're fat, I don't know.
But I told Mortal Rising, I'm like, yo, how's it going, Mortal Rising? I've been thinking of you. And I try to say no homo, and it's like, YouTube rejected your comment. And so I changed it and I broke up homo. And that went through. So just a little inside baseball for you in the future. It's typing homo, which I think is very homophobic.
Okay. Sure.
That they wouldn't let me type homo.
Yeah.
I got Nick's Q waving. Hello. Thank you for being a member. Anyway, we have memberships too, so your support is appreciated. And every month you might be in for a little surprise raffle. If you're at the 99-cent tier, $10 tier, you are for sure. And join for the $10 tier, because don't let Low Watermark win every month, because he's just going to automatically win being $10.
You're just gonna be giving him presents all the time.
Yeah.
Just here's your here's your next gift. Here's your next
$10,
gift.
you're getting something from like $30 to $50.
There's no challenge. There's no potential of him
challenge
not
this
winning.
fucker and give me money.
Yes.
The more money I can get, the more I can put into like fun, raffle stuff back to y'all. Back to you. The people.
Back to usins.
Is that you flirting? No. Rookie, you fig, get in here.
I did.
DJ Gravy Mix says absolute F slur. He means you, Rookie.
Well, now there's so many F words to pick from. I don't know which one I want to choose to interpret it as. So,
damn it, I don't want to be murdered by his legions. Speaking of Eric Juneteenth, Erica Knox is another word I like to give him. Collie Hand says, "Hey Angus."
When you said picture Yaira as a dream, and now I'm thinking of Martin Luther King
no.
about
that's
Yaira.
A bookmark.
I'm just saying. No, I'm saying you think of Martin Luther King going, "I have a dream of
Yaira." Minzer says, "Hail."
Hail,
Rook is it 10 sweet? Yeah, you already answered that. Good afternoon, gentlemen. DJ Gray Mix. I know you didn't like Gremlins. I grew up at that time. It was never something I got excited over. Gremlins is a better movie than Con Air. Fuck no, it's not.
No, man, I'm sorry. Gremlins is awful. Man.
I mean,
I don't know.
Cool.
I don't
Lots
understand.
Of great puppet technical
for the time. For the time, they did some technical achievements, but I don't know why that movie is so beloved.
I don't even think that they already did Star Wars. They already had Salacious Crumb. I don't even buy that bullshit. That Gremlins is foundational.
I don't get why that's so beloved. I don't get it.
I don't know why some people still defend Eric. Exactly. Well, because they want these are slimy peasants that instead of realizing their stature in the hierarchy, they think, oh, if I play nice and I suck up, and if I get an idea, I'll get rich like Eric because he'll promote me.
That one business video by the guy who makes fun of Eric did a good job explaining that sort of thing with whatever. I forget which guy does those videos, but
ripoffers.
If that was him before the puppets, yeah, that might have been him.
Oh, you're talking about External Hater.
That like did it with like comic panels.
Yeah,
he shows a lot.
Business
does whatever. Yeah, he's like, you don't got to be the smartest one to do this. You just got to be able to make everyone follow you or something. And it's like,
yeah, he's like, so get that $700 replica Boba Fett gun out of your mouth. And
I think it's funnier because it's extra long. It's like you just like get that gun out of your mouth. No. Get that nerd gun.
Right, you're talking to fucking fat white retards.
We don't got no real gun. We got the 250 shot range model L rifle from Solo or some shit.
Why are you afraid?
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, no, that's really what it is. It's a bunch of slime balls that Melanie Mac. Melanie Mac, like she got Tony TGD held to him. I'll try to find that clip later in a future stream. But he tricked Melanie Mac, ironically an F slur on the internet, to read a super chat. She was gaming, and she's just like lost train of thought. And he says something about, oh yeah, Eric hired like trans activists, and she just kind of like read it out loud before processing. Like, oh man, that's like, well, I wouldn't do that. She's just like clearly trying to like sidestep when her whole fucking personality is this fucking internet church lady bullshit. But then, it's Eric, and so, oh well, that's unfortunate, I guess. Busted, you fucking phonies. Phony fucks.
Well, that was why I messaged you about like the act man versus heel versus babyface sort of thing, because it's sort of in the same realm of all this.
I watched half of his video on Twitter.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like it's people not like he seems to not want to ever
No.
Talk
Stop.
to
Stop.
Okay, I don't know if that's a
Stop!
topic or not. You didn't tell me if
Stop
we're talking
it!
about it or not, okay?
Silence!
I don't even know what the show is today. I don't know, okay? I don't know.
either. I don't either. But no, I don't want to forget the dream. The dream,
Okay.
Rookie. I
Okay.
have a dream.
I didn't know it was all connected, okay?
I
All right, let's
forget.
go.
Yeah. Okay. So I said, yeah, Yaira, dream. I'm really bad at dreams. Like, I don't remember dreams almost ever. I remember like 5 my whole life. It's like how like black and empty my sleep is.
Your black dreams.
Not black dreams, but anyway, for whatever reason, I'm dreaming of a world where me and Eric as like comic companies are like directly in conflict. And so it's for some reason we're like in military kits, or at least like Molly kits with like pouches and stuff. But for some reason, because I work at a factory, I'm like mostly just have tools on me, like wrenches and shit. So I'm like, okay. And Yaira is like an actual like blonde lady that's I guess on staff for Ripa. And we're like negotiating. For some reason in this world, it's like more or less all of our ideas generally have like counters, like for like not Deadshot. Fuck. Who's the
Bloodshot?
not Bloodshot, no. DC Marvel.
Bloodsport,
Not Bloodsport. Who is the vampire guy that was in Justice League? He was in a vampire show. I think he was in True Blood, and he played the like half blind guy, like he's missing one eye. And he meets Lex Luthor.
Oh, Deathstroke. He was not a vampire as far as I could tell in anything. He's just
no. I think that actor was in True Blood as a vampire.
Oh, the actor. Okay, yeah. I don't know what that. Okay, yeah, Deathstroke. Yeah.
Yes, Deathstroke. You know, Deathstroke.
Yes.
More or less, Deathstroke, Deadpool. You know, there's whatever DC's got, and then there's Doctor Strange. There's Batman, and there's Iron Man. There's Superman. There's the Sentry. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's all these like equivalent counters. And so more or less in this like blur, it's kind of in the periphery of the dream. I have more or less equal characters to Eric. I don't know if this is like a copyright dispute or something, but we're like all like kitted up. But then we're like, but then for some reason I'm actually addressing like the Yaira lady who's real or something. And then like we seem to be getting along. And I'm just like, at some point, it's like, wait, why do you work for this guy? Not even me trying to like get her on my team, but I'm just like, wait, what? Like, you seem to have more. And then we like go somewhere and talk or during somewhere else. And she's talking about like family or something. It's like she's got a daughter, but she's gone, and like the dad has her somewhere or something. It's like, oh man. And then like for some reason she like transforms to like water based. Okay. That's cooler. But then she transforms into like a different element. She becomes like a rock lady, more or less like
I am the boulder.
Moana, you know, at the end, the goddess or whatever. The volcano demon is actually the goddess from the start. You know, that's the twist that if you didn't pick up on it, obviously that's what it's going to be. The duality of Mother Nature, more or less, is the angle.
Of course.
Hyperion. Okay, that's another one. But yeah, you get what I'm saying. Anyway, Geek Getaway. Hey, I was just talking about you and how you tricked Melanie Mack if you weren't here for that. That was funny. If you could DM me that clip, I fucking want to play it for the chat because I love it. But yeah, for whatever reason, Yaira becomes like an elemental giant rock mommy, and I thought that was like her hottest form. And then that's the end of the dream. I woke up and I got ready to stream. I don't know why this was a dream.
This is how detractors sleep.
This is how deeply invested the detracting goes. The wavelengths in my brain are so ready for Yaira Winter.
Yaira War.
That I dream that she's actually not a nice lady. She's a big rock mommy. Like,
oh, that's fun.
Like, think of like, yeah, like the Moana goddess, or like the rock monster in Think of like a Rule 34, but like CGI, like still like, you know, looks real. Think of like a Rule 34 version of like the Rock Monster in Galaxy Quest. It was something like that where it's like, hey, she's just a person talking to.
I
Then it turns out, like,
haven't
oh,
seen
she's
Galaxy.
actually Yaira, and then it's like, oh, actually, she's also get transferred into like a guy, like giant rock mommy.
I still have yet to see Galaxy Quest.
You never seen Galaxy? Tim Allen.
I've only
What the
seen.
fuck?
I think I've only seen like the scene where they like approach those aliens and they're like, "Oh, that little
Oh, you
one's
said-
trying to
yeah.
get water," and then they all eat them or something, and they're like, "Oh shit!" And it's like, "Oh, that's like the only scene I know of that movie."
Oh, that's where the Rock Monster comes in.
Oh, I don't remember
There's,
anything
like, the
else past
cutesy
that.
Demons, and
I've
then
s- I think that was a movie that my brother played at my dad's house or something. But yeah, I never saw the whole movie or don't remember it. Don't remember.
I so
Which
I said
one
I
do you
should
leave or
turn my comic dream into a comic. What would I call it? Give me some name ideas in the chat, people. I'd love that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Holly Hand says, I think Eric was somehow gaslight people into thinking EVS is doing trash case because he is jealous the amount of money he made. Yeah, exactly. Where is AJ? You tell me, Immortal. I don't fucking know. He's walking his dogs. I don't know. Like, I sent him before I went to bed at 9 this morning because I'm working overnight. That's why we're doing the stream so early. I told him EST, not CST. So possibly with that reply to begin with, he's probably gonna pop in at like 3. So we're gonna get all the detracting in early, but no. Let me share, move this tab. There we go. Okay, I got an hour for that. Some people will be like, "Oh, Angus always bidding on eBay." During stream. It's like I can't help when the fucking bids end.
Cannot control time and space yet.
All right, I thought this was funny. I don't know if you saw this. This is apparently Godzilla -1.
Cookie. But me so hungry for cookie, me no get way. Give me cookie, please. Give me cookie, speakers with cookie.
I thought that was a funny edit. It's like that is the most outside of the trailer that I'll ever watch a Godzilla -1. So I'm not fucking watching it. You know, get me watch Godzilla, Mongolians.
No, they got you to watch Arita, and you learned from that.
I learned from Arita.
Yes. You're a Brado Angel.
That's funny.
There's little things that Asians pretty much can't say that's funny. You know, everything's funny pretty much.
Fuck. Sorry, I'm just going through and I'm like, wow, I forgot I sent myself those fucking milk cannons. Nice. Where is it? Again, I feel like I'm probably missing a video or two that I was very interested in. There's a really good one about Dune. I'd be really fucking pissed if I somehow lost it. Might be my drafts. Let me check my drafts.
Possibly.
Drafts. I'm probably gonna check my phone. That's stupid. It should translate.
Yeah, sometimes it does, sometimes it don't.
There's a
Knows.
funny fucking.
While you're looking for that, we finally got past the Fly episode of Breaking Bad. I for the last 2 or 3 years, we've been having me slowly watch Breaking Bad, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm finally watching Breaking Bad, and we're only now passing the Fly episode, and there's still 2 seasons or a season to go with there, so that is interesting. The Fly one apparently is directed by Ryan Johnson or something.
Yeah,
like a
he did 2
controversial
episodes.
ish episode. Well, honestly, so I didn't. That episode did drag more, but it was more with the pretense that it was I thought that was the season finale of the season, but apparently there's a few more episodes still, so that's fine. And the second half of the episode is more interesting when he's talking about where he would have liked to die. He's like, I never heard anybody, a character, say, "I've overlived. I've lived longer than I should have." So I was really engaged with that conversation that he's having with Jesse, and he's almost telling Jesse that he killed Jane. spoilers. And it's like, I like that. And it is also kind of because he gave him the sleepy pills that was kind of making him more drowsy, less aware of what's going on, and he just kind of spilling his thoughts. So that's good.
I actually posted this. Okay, awesome. I was very afraid. But before we get into that, there's a little thing we do over here. You might know of it.
The Horn of Ceremony!
That's right. It's the Horn of Ceremony. Today I'm ingesting some Pure Leaf unsweet tea. That'll wake you up. Stout, sturdy tea. And now you're after the spoon.
This concludes the Horn of Ceremony.
And now I resume my Mongolian tea. Actually, this is Chinese tea. It's almost not, like the inside is not 200 years old, but the recipe is about 200 years old. I get it at this Chinese restaurant in town. And fuck, this is real Chinese shit. And it's interesting because if you get this, what's it called? Herbal beverage. The Chinese national brand Wang Lao Ji. Legend of over 100 years history, authentic Wang Lao Ji herbal beverage made from herbal plant materials. But yeah, this is like a flower tea.
Some authentic Wang.
I think they imported black people to make this because it's fucking sweet. It's yummy. All right, so okay, interesting.
Yes, that was Chris.
Was what?
He asked if that was Chris Fisk. This is a horn.
Yeah. Chris is the voiceover for that. I love it. I want him to get a second one so I can incorporate the other Horn of Ceremony because I have a horn mug that Ricky sent. But I saw this and it killed me. This is for you Dune fans. I have not seen Dune 2. I'm not a big Dune Villeneuve was like the first time I watched a Villeneuve film. I'm like, I don't like this. But I started watching Alt Shift X Dune coverage, his deep dive Dune video. And having read a couple chapters of Dune, I'm like, oh fuck. So like it's like the immersion of like, all right, these books are cool. So yeah, I very much feel like Dune is something you have to read to appreciate this. It's not like Lord of the Rings where it's like, I never read Lord of the Rings, and then you watch the I have read those, by the way, but I feel like someone like that, and you watch the movies, you get everything you need out of it. It really brings the world to life. And it has like, extra awareness of, Peter Jackson's awareness of all the other books as well. So he tries to incorporate little tidbits wherever he can. But this is a funny fucking Dune video. Here we go.
And I don't really care about Dune, so this will be fun for me. No.
Good people of Arrakis, it's me, Shia Lud, your beloved sandworm of the desert. Many people are saying Paul Atreides, little Paul Atreides. I call him Pesky Paul. He's Al-Mahdi. People are calling him Lisan Al-Gaib. Pesky Paul's calling himself Muad'Dib. He said, Muad'Dib, I'm a little desert mouse. Just a humble little desert mouse. And he is very tiny. I saw him. I could crush him easily. Folks, you can't trust Pesky Paul. He's got the Bene Gesserit. Nasty women. Those Bene Gesserit trying to control the outcome of event. He's going around the desert. He's going to the south of the southern border. He's bringing up religious fanatics from the south. He's trying to wage a holy war in the whole universe. Now, the Harkonnens, we don't like the Harkonnens, folks. They're terrible. They're terrible. They gave us a bad deal, but I can get a better deal from the Harkonnens. What can I say? They want our spice. It's the most precious substance in the universe. We're going to get a better deal. We're going to make Arrakis great again. It's going to be an amazing time. We're going to have paradise here in Arrakis, not because of Pesky Paul, but because of your old friend Shia Lud. Good people.
I thought that was very creative, making the sandworm fucking Trump.
I hate that.
The
thing,
face.
the face
I
thing.
love it.
I hate those. And
It's
anything I
amazing.
see them in, I hate them so much. They are not. They're the most unfunny thing that everybody laughs at. I'm just like, it's not funny.
Well, it's like
Don't like
that
him.
paired, like, because it's a worm. So he's
I get
that's his
what
mouth.
I get
It's
what
not his eyes.
I get what it's doing, but I'm saying that thing like with the orange and what that type of thing is, I hate it.
I love finding the most random, non-consequential things that make Rookie a fucking autist. Like he's like, yeah, I just never thought about a thing, and you got like very intense opinions about whatever, and then Rookie's like, oh man, that fucking deer in Santa Claus 2
But it's the easiest thing to insult that annoys me. It's nothing else makes my hairs rise. I go, oh, I hate you. Then shit like that. It's a reaction. It's a
Anakin.
reflex reaction. Yes.
It's just hilarious because it's like Rookie's just like fucking, you don't know what drives them. We're like, man, I can't wait to expose you to this amazing film. And he's like, eh. I'm like, what the fuck? And then it's like, oh, Sin City, which is like, that's a cool movie, but it's not like, wow. And he's like, fuck. I guess like I really like heard him alive reacting to that. I'm just like, what? What, this faggot who doesn't like Wolf of Wall Street? And then he Sin City woke him up? Like, what? Makes no fucking sense.
It's perfect sense. You're difficult because I find things that I know you like, and you even say you'd probably like, and go, I'm never gonna watch it though. It's like, well, if it's not at 90% of something you're gonna like, you won't watch it. But if it's at below 40%, you'll watch it to laugh at it.
Definitely.
Anything in between, you won't like.
I don't
for some
want
reason.
lukewarm.
It's
I'm
like
very polar.
but you get like an 89% of things you like. Nope, not good enough.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's why that's tough.
It's a bad deal. Ricky
Uh-huh.
tried to give us a bad deal. I can get a better deal. But I love that. Where it's like they incorporate in that video with Dune fucking Trumpisms, you know, where he's like, pesky Paul, I call him.
Mhm.
It's like, it's funny, the context, because it's like, oh yeah, he is like kind of like the Trump, the way people think of Trump. He is kind of that in this universe, and white savior. People are fooled by, but actually he's like fucking decimates the world apparently in this universe. Very funny stuff. Yeah, Deathstroke. What's up, Comic Dude? He says hello there. You're listening to the Dune audio play on YouTube. Huh. I didn't think of that. I really need to read things. I'm a slow reader, but I can't really absorb shit unless I'm directly watching a video or I'm reading it directly. Like in class, other people could probably just sit there and listen to the teacher read Hatchet, and I'm like, no, I need it in
No,
front
I
of me.
know you gotta absorb it. Like when you have something read to you, that's different than when you're reading it yourself. You're able to, because you're focusing on it in a way. You're focusing on the thing compared to somebody else.
Comic Dude says Dune 2 isn't great. It's more spectacle than substance. I don't know. But having watched Alt Shift X, who is a very trustworthy Game of Thrones lore channel, but apparently also a Dune guy, he's definitely watching the start of his video got me very interested in Dune, rewatching it. And so I'm like, oh, okay, I can see that. Yeah, it's like it's one of those like, for a reason, my opinion doesn't quite translate without foreknowledge of the series. And in this sphere, even though it does have like a long history of fandom, it seems kind of like only a few people are like Dune people and know the shit, you know. So it seems like a kind of an untapped universe to play with.
It
in our
seems like
Star Wars box.
It seems like a hard one to sell to people because there doesn't seem to be that many visually striking things. That's like, oh,
Yeah, it's all
that's
mostly
Dune.
Arrakis.
And then then there doesn't seem to even be that many character things as far as I can tell, because I don't hear people really talk about them. People don't really sell. People are not very good at selling Dune to anybody, as far as I can tell. Nobody's described it to me in a way that's like, wow, that's something I gotta see. It's just
I'm making you watch about 20-30 minutes of that Dune deep dive and see what you think coming out of it, because it's like you look at Game of Thrones, it's like they even do a stream where it's like comparing Game of Thrones and Dune, and it's like, fuck, this is cool, because like it's compare contrast. It's not, oh, here's it's just like, oh wow, that's cool. Like, you know, whoever the I guess governor the father of Paul Atreides. He is more or less kind of set up as a what is that? Who's that guy? The Aragorn of Game of Thrones, Ned Stark. He's kind of set up like him. And it's like, okay, and then it's interesting to see like Catelyn Stark, where it's like, well, that's the wife of that tier character, but then the Bene Gesserit mistress of the governor, he's actually like, they're not married, and she's also a religious fanatic, and then she also gave a male heir outside of the plan of the Bene Gesserit, who are trying to like, essentially eugenics the proper male savior of their prophecy or some shit. And I guess that's problematic for people. And it's like, I love when people get so true about eugenics. Like, they just instantly think Nazis. And it's like, like every woman's a eugenicist. Like they are the gatekeeper of genes.
Well, so just eugenics is like trying to make a better generation with each one or something.
Well, eugenics is just like more or less, it's become like its own thing in our mindset today because of Nazis, but it's actually just like kind of like the study of genetics and how can we manipulate them to arguably I wouldn't say necessarily better, but to like kind of more craft our next progeny to like
well, yeah, so in a way, yeah, I didn't even think of them when I was thinking about it. I'm like, that seems to be what in the general, it's kind of what evolution almost wants humans to try to do and prove yourself, because we have so many defects as it is. Like, and organs that don't work, or organs that might not work that we have anyway. And so I don't know. I assume that's what kind of getting
have to county there, because like this is the problem. People think survival of the fittest means survival of the best, and it's like no. Michael Phelps could be very poorly suited evolutionarily for like the planet Hoth, so he would die.
Well, that's not how I meant. I guess I was combining two ideas.
That was more of a clarification for audience, because people get so like some of these phrases tied to evolution that there's like a instant, because like social evolution popped up because this whole survival of the fittest idea, and so they applied it to sociology.
Right.
Then you get like you apply that with eugenics.
I was more saying with our understanding of evolution, it would make sense that humans would try to have better offspring if they can make, hey, if we can pair these people together and they have a great baby, that's what I was saying. Kind of makes sense to me to eugenics.
Yeah.
Like, even if they aren't using science and tools to make the baby, if you try to pair certain people to breed a baby that could be more superior, right? Like, that's,
You sound like you'd be great in the Third Reich, Ricky.
They could be non-white people that are trying to do it, but
I mean, yeah.
I didn't assign a skin color. They could be mixing the two for all we know. What if they mix black and white and make chocolate milk?
In America with eugenics,
you can make chocolate milk with white and black.
Came from eugenics. What are you talking? I'm not racist. Like,
well, that's what Leslie Jones actually made jokes like that once on SNL, which was kind of one of her only funny things. Where she's like, if I was back in the old days, I'd be pumping out in the slave trade, I'd be pumping out LeBron and Shaq and whatever with it. Massa hooked me up real good. She's it's like,
that is
funny. Shit. That was kind of funny.
Let me see. Should have been a TV series. Yes, Kandu says he's also
undesired racist.
He's also the Kwisatz Haderach. I was comparing it to the book. It leaves out a lot of material from the book. If you don't know the book, you might enjoy it. So, like my little chapter 2 into the book, then watching Alt Shift X is what made me appreciate Villeneuve's Dune. So I watched it and I'm like, I think I have a review on my channel of it where I'm just like, yeah, this shit sucks, because like, who is Paul? Forget if they casted ugly bitches like his love interest Shani or whatever with the Zendaya. They're really trying to eugenicize our societal standards of beauty with Zendaya. It's like people try to compare her and like Sydney Sweeney, You know, like they're on the same level, or actually Zendaya's better. And like, who? What? No. But yeah, reading a little bit and watching some alt shift, that's what really got me to kind of like look back at Dune and appreciate. We're like, oh man, they are kind of bringing this to life. For this is the best thus far on screen kind of adaptation of at least certain elements that I'm aware of now. So I'm like, okay. But it's just a lot of moving pieces. It's kind of like a Game of Thrones season 1, where it's like people really underestimate because it's like a lot to like take in. So it's a lot of moving pieces. They don't realize how foundational that first season is to kind of really set the story up.
Well, do they do a good job at getting characters established and you to be rooting for whatever characters or not?
Well, that's my problem.
That's part of the disconnect. Is there's not enough there. I mean, we watched one of the Dune movies, right? But I barely
the first one.
I barely fucking know what the fuck is going on. I don't know if it was because I was literally sleepy or because it was difficult to really pay attention to it or care. And honestly, the blandness of the desert, I need a break from desert stuff for a bit and then maybe rewatch it, because I just was like, okay, you're here.
Yeah,
and okay,
here's the thing with
Dune
Dune is that is, without me learning more about the series and stuff and appreciating it, just watch the movie. The movie sucks in the sense that, and maybe the first movie too, I don't know, the original like 84 or whatever, Lynch. You're watching stuff happen, like it makes sense, but there's no investment of like, I care about Paul, I relate to him. There's no like Harry Potter, Luke Skywalker, like, man, I relate to that guy and I hope he wins,
Mhm.
It's just you're watching events happen. It's like, man, it sucks your dad's dead, but we don't really care about your dad. Don't care about you. Don't care about the Bene Gesserit. Don't care about the fucking Harkonnens. We don't care about the Arrakis natives. And it's just like you're watching things play out. It's like watching history, And so I think that's like the disconnect and why I didn't like the movie. But yeah, again, immersing myself a bit into the book made me like the movie more. Still think it's got problems. Still think Zendaya sucks. But yeah, it's a series I want to get more into. Leto Atreides is the father. Yeah, that's a cool name. And it's cool too that it's like supposed to be like 10,000 years in the future. And we've had the Butlerian Jihad, which is like they've like essentially dude, like this big think piece by Frank Herbert. I'm assuming kind of predictive maybe, and it's like the Butlerian Jihad is like essentially humanity revolted against like robots or tech or whatever. So they have, besides like ships, they don't do computers really, I think even calculators. So they have like these like math whizzes on staff.
So they have technology, but they don't have computer stuff. So you can have a car, you can have a calculator, like you said, but not a machine that's too smart. That'll do a bunch.
Yeah. And that's so when I say Butlerian Jihad, that's like what I'm hoping for. People worry about AI and our over reliance on computers and stuff. I'm like, Butlerian Jihad, like let's go back to like 1900. Let's go back to like 1926. Let's have a Model T and no computers.
Yes.
The YouTube channel Quinn's Idea is a great Dune lore spot. Let me look that up really quick. So see if that is a channel I've seen before or not. Read it to me. Quinn's what? Quinn's Ideas, Dune. All right, there's an ultimate guide to Dune, all 6 books. It's a 8-hour video. Adding that to my playlist. Actually, I should just fucking crash this whole thing for Ricky and we just start watching that, and I mute him. I'm like, no, we're watching this.
I'd just be like, all right, let's go to something else. Bye.
Eugenics is selective breeding in humans. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Dune never really interests me, but I probably should give it a chance. Yeah, I definitely think so. Drawing for the fun of it. Breeding out undesired races. I mean, you can do that with eugenics, but every race can be eugenicists. Every nation, like, so an artificial selection of domesticated animals is. Yeah, there you go. Why did you race swap AJ for a white guy?
I'm the All American Beef co-host. Angus
Good
does a
one,
lot of
DJ.
streams now, but I'm on the beef ones. Okay,
That's funny.
I'm on the Thursdays.
I thought he had something.
Isn't
That's
AJ
funny,
kind of
DJ.
whitish? No, just kidding.
I don't think he's white at
No.
all.
No.
I mean, maybe somewhere up in his family line, like, you know, Master had some fun with a relative, but
Okay.
you know, it might be like an Erica Knox thing where, you know,
Mm.
Eric's got some white up the
Mhm.
chain.
Mhm.
There's a little Thomas Jefferson somewhere in there. If you don't know Thomas Jefferson, like, people hate him because it's arguable that he raped a slave, or it might have been a consensual relationship, but it's like it's still in the framework of slavery. So is it
Mhm.
ever consensual to fuck a slave? So
Mhm.
that's what's funny too. And all these weirdos try to ship Storm Pilot. They try to ship or no, it's not, is it Storm Pilot? Finn Poe, whatever. They try to ship Finn and Poe Dameron from episode 7 because, like, there's a couple little indicators that you can interpret as gay,
Mhm.
which is fine. But then you start breaking it down. I did this on accident years later, where it's like, wait, you know, it's like, yeah, so it's like he's kind of, you know, he's been essentially a slave his whole life to the First Order. And for whatever reason, he has like a sense of conscience all of a sudden, even though that makes no sense given this whole sphere that raises you kind of like the Jedi from childhood to be a killer for this new regime.
Well, and even though for him, he said he's a janitor, which is confusing as to
why is a
Okay,
janitor on
so
a Black Ops mission?
did he. Well, they made it sound like he just recently started to learn how to use a blaster, and then after his, I don't know, you can assume 1 or 2 training things. Now he's on the field. I don't know.
Here's the
I don't
thing,
know.
Ricky. They did they did like this weird like one-shot series of comics. It's like
Yeah.
Age of Rebellion, it's like, you know, whatever. It's these ages books. They have certain characters one shots. They got like Rose Tico. They did, I think, Ray. They did Kylo. A series which is pretty good. Trying to make up for lack of storytelling with the Knights of Ren and shit. And what's his name? What's the guy that cut in half?
Darth Maul?
No,
What? Cut in half?
Kylo killed him. His master.
Oh, Snoke. Yeah.
Snow. Yeah. See, it's such a
The guy that
horrible
cut in
name.
half, I don't know.
Doesn't come to mind.
Right. You're right. No, I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about in the sequels. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
It has Snoke on Dagobah going to the tree with Kylo, which is kind of cool. And he destroys the tree because it's tied to his parents, you know, because that's like his whatever. Snoke. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, they did one for Finn, and he's a janitor on a Starkiller base. And literally, like, Kylo walks by and they like freak out. And even though they got droids and shit, they for some reason have this black guy hold a mop. But then they actually show like being a janitor on Starkiller base because it's a planet. So they got, you know, turned it into a like, Death Star. And so they got all these like subterranean like creatures and shit that interfere with like the ventilations and stuff. So it's like being a janitor in there really is like getting in suit, getting your fucking weapon and killing random creatures in more or less like sewer or ventilation shafts.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like Doom or something.
But it's like, what? So even more so, like, okay, I can understand them wanting to have their soldiers brainwashed, I guess, but like, do they need to brainwash janitors? Like, is that what the goal is? Like, we need to recruit these people for what? To clean the floors for us.
That's funny, just the way you put that. I'm very upset because I missed out on a bid for all of the Truth, Justice, American Way, that gay Gabe El Taib book. I was really excited to win it, and now I gotta look it up.
Not anymore, you're not.
So I was gonna review. I'm reviewing Deus Vult by John Delarose. Geek Getaway may be interested in that. What's funny too, I don't know if you saw a post. You know, Delarose sells this whole like Christian outrage tied to comics, which is like, just don't read comics if you're trying to be like such a devout Christian that like fantasy has to be so micromanaged. And so he's like, there's this one post I showed last stream where it's like arguably, or you know, you can interpret the visuals that maybe DC Cheetah is masturbating while also having like a cheetah with their arm around it next to her, like a pet cheetah. It's like it's degenerate. They're promoting bestiality. And then you look up Deus Vult. Let's look this up together.
All right.
This is very funny because it's like, well, what am I supposed to get out of this, John? It's kind of hypocritical. I feel like you're promoting bestiality. Just maybe. Just a thought. And you'll see why.
How is masturbating bestiality?
Well, because she's a cheetah. That's what it's also. It's like she's a cheetah now, and then
yeah,
she's got
but,
like her
like,
pet cheetah next to her.
What does that have to
I
do
guess
with
the fact that she might be
readers?
petting her cheetah while petting her pussy is bestiality. Which
Because
like,
to me, I'm just like, well, what is that? If a kid read that for some reason, how would they go? Okay, I'm now bestiality. Like, what do you mean?
all right.
At worst,
So-
they'd be a furry, maybe.
right. So
Like, I don't know.
66-page graphic novel of a knight who gets transported into a fantasy land and must save its people from the evil demon king. I'm not sure exactly what Deus Vult means, but Deus is like God. It's Latin, I think. So Deus Vult meaning.
Yeah, I don't know.
God's will. By Christians throughout history, such as the Puritans, as a model of chivalric order. It was first chanted by Catholics during the First Crusade in 1096 as a rallying cry, most likely under the form of Deus Leveut, as reported by the Gesta Francorum. If you don't know, First Crusade was almost exclusively a French military campaign because Pope Urban II was French. And so his dictations, his rally cry to Europe was mostly towards France. I don't quite understand the politics of West Europe at that point to quite know outside of that, more I watch like Kings and Generals, the more I think about regions and stuff and, duchies and whatnot, all these little tiny kingdoms. So it's like, what was the state of things with the other countries? Why is it just mostly a French? So the big thing about the Crusades is like, while they were going to Jerusalem, like that region, they were killing Jews on the way there because it's like, well, they killed Jesus, so we'll take care of these people on their way to kill Muslims. So it's just very interesting reading Pope Urban's rally cry because he's like quoting the Bible in certain ways, and it's like very inspirational. It's very charismatic. I really reading it, not knowing anything else about him, I very much believe like, okay, it seems like a sincere. What's crazy too, they won eventually, I think like 1101 or something. He died, I think 1099. He died like a year or two before they won the First Crusade. And so it's like, man, think of that. Think of being like George W. Bush. Not only did you not get Osama bin Laden, but at least you're alive to see what you laid in order get him. Just think about like your whole life's dedicated. It's Irvin from Attack on Titan.
No, yeah.
That's what I'm getting at. Anyway, Deus Vult, John Del Rose. This is his cover by Sashi. This is the variant. I found it because I was looking up Sashi covers, and I found this.
This is Del Rose's cover.
This is Del Rose's book. This is a Sashi cover.
I wouldn't have believed that based on what you said about.
And it's like, wait. It's Bestiality by DC, but then you're selling this obvious Sashi. Sashi does pinups. That's all she does. This fucking Gooner cat lady cover. This is the more prestigious cover of your God's Will book. Your God's Will fantasy book. Your Christian propaganda book in fantasy.
Yeah.
And then you sell this Gooner cover. And look, I'm thinking this is supposed to be the same character because look, here's a cattail lady with boob armor, which is really just pasties on her nipples. But then he wants to talk about degeneracy and sex and shit. But then he also wants to be like, oh, the M&Ms, woke M&Ms. He's one of those people. But then
the M&Ms.
His shit never makes sense.
Coming for M&Ms.
It's like, oh, look, they made the M&M woke, which is like, okay, whatever. Yeah, I can kind of agree. There's like this weird agenda to destroy beautiful women imagery.
Destroy beautiful M&Ms.
Unless it's lesbian, then it might be okay.
Yes.
But otherwise, heteronormative, beautiful women, gotta get rid of that. Cannot appeal to toxic masculinity gaze. It's like, okay, fine. Like, yeah, I can totally get on board. I love the Greeks. They perfected the art of the human body. We should always rebel against anyone else to deconstruct and tear that down. We should destroy those demons. But then also you can't also say, like, you got to pick a lane and accept the derivatives that you don't like. Where it's like, you like freedom, you like the Constitution, you like freedom of speech. All right. Well, that also applies. Freedom of speech applies to art, and pornography by consenting adults is art. So, no, we got to ban pornography, but we love America and values. You don't, though. You sound like a fucking Taliban. It's like they don't want to accept. It's like, this is a cool cover. Sashi draws hot shit. People love gooning to cat ladies. This is furry shit. This is awesome. But it's like this guy. This is like the two-facedness of John Delarose. John Delarose wants to talk about degeneracy, and then also he's cozying up to Eric July and the Soska sisters. I guess he's expecting that to benefit selling his books, which are crowdfunded. And Eric July hates crowdfunding. He's generating this whole camp to hate crowdfunding, unless it's Drunk 3PO, I guess. But I don't know. It's going to be Ripicent, so I guess he's just going to sell the book, and pre-orders versus campaigning. Who knows? Ripaverse goalposts. I hope it's the real you. But 4 days till Yaira. Hey, if you weren't here earlier, rewind the tape. I had a Yaira dream. I think you're really gonna like it. It would be good clip. It's clip worthy for your demographic on Twitter. They'll love it. But they're so obsessed. They're psychotic. It'd be great for you.
Good content for you. Yeah.
Sam can introduce says, yeah. Sorry, trying to catch up. They have mechanical devices. Yeah. There are mentals who are human calculators. Yeah, exactly. Is that like drug based? Aren't they like spice heads? I know the pilot's supposed to be spice people, right? It's like helps them see the channelways, whatever, through space better. If you push a broom, you can fire a blaster. That makes sense. This clickbait post. I remember she was just sitting next to an animal petting it. Yeah. Europe was constantly busy with eternal conflicts. France is more unified. Okay, interesting. Collie Hand says, Sashi's a local SJW. She does good work for the Jawbreakers pinup, but I probably wouldn't work with her. Yara is 7 days late and counting. Is it? It's not.
No, I think it launches on Monday.
Yeah. Which I'm going to be there day one.
Yep, I'll back it too.
I cannot wait for Yaira Winter. I can't wait to see how bad it's going to be, because like everyone's like, oh, look at this hot artist. The art's going to be hot. And it's like, then he just deconstructs that one page in the ad. Nice song too. And he's like, oh God, she sucks. That was funny.
Yep, we shall see.
Has anyone read USA Assassin by Mark Polton? Because I'm about to bid for this.
Have not.
It's funny because like looking up John Malin, all that Graveyard Shift stuff, like it's got value. Like you're only going to get anything Graveyard Shift for like full price, if not inflated 2 or 3 times. And then you look up like, oh, Gabe LT, Truth, Justice, American Way, some gay response to DC Comics, amending how they treat Superman in that phrase. And no one really cares about it. It's worth $10. You probably paid 2 or 3 times that to buy it on an Indiegogo. It's very interesting to see people's aftermarket value. Like I was following one of the covers of Ison 2. It was started for like $5. It got up to like 25, I think, but it's like it's kind of worthless.
Yeah.
It's only got value right now because we're talking about it. People want to like deconstruct it. They want to see for themselves, have it in hand. Was it really that bad? Oh wow, yeah. Fuck, it was. So yeah, that's why I'm keeping my eye out for this bid. Hey, look, it's the anti-detractor. Deborah Carita has bushy eyebrows. I'm not. Hey, you know what that tells me? She's got some other places that are bushy, and I like that. I like that confidence in a woman. all natural. Embrace Embrace the animal.
Embrace the
within.
rainbow.
So yeah, I hope that's the pitch she's giving with her eyebrows. I'm all for it. You know, that's like new territory. Bimbo with like fillers and stuff, and Bush. Fuck, man, what a
Going
package!
full bush. Going full
Got
bush.
3 minutes. Well, actually, yeah, 3 minutes and counting. To get this USA Assassin. But yeah, I really like that cat cover. I'm trying to snag it. Yeah, I don't care for Sausage SCW. I thought about getting her in the future for a cover. Very 80s of her. Yeah, comic dude. I guess yeah, it's funny. I guess when I went to your channel, it's like I guess I've seen this. It was just on Twitter. Unfortunately, it hasn't translated to your YouTube as of yet, but hopefully it does. Hopefully you keep at it. I like what you're doing God's work. I sent EVS the lobster magnet video, Ricky, about like the history of Comicsgate and Ripa coming on the scene.
Oh yeah.
I sent him that video. I'm like, hey, this might be a good EFEP. So if you see him covering a like Ripaverse Comicsgate video by Lobster Magnet Reviews, that was thanks to this guy. And hopefully he'll like get him on a channel for a stream and deconstruct his essay video, because I told him like, yeah, he's gonna do this. He's wanting to do a part 2. I just don't know when that'll ever happen.
One day.
But yeah, I'm trying to again, I'm doing this at work, so I'm listening to A Drink with Crazy, because Evius mentioned A Drink Crazy because he had the Sauskers on, and I guess Evius popped in the chat and said something, and he's like, yeah, apparently he like just freaked out. You know, it's like, hey, let's talk. And he like visibly freaked out when I was in his chat. And I was like, really?
Yeah, from what I could tell, he wants to be the not pick a side guy, but
he's clearly picking a side with his fucking interactions and stuff, which is fine. Don't be a pussy about it. That's what I hate. Like the behavior. This is why you know you're on the right side if you're a detractor, because we're all like, ha, 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 woo, memes, jokes, ha, 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 even at ourselves, or we'll take jokes and twist them and make new jokes that were intended to like, you know, derail us or whatever. And we're like, ha, 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 look, that was funny. And you see the butt hurt on the other side and the unwillingness to engage. That's how you know you're on the right side. Like pretty much the side that has the humor and these kind of internet battles.
Well, in a way, I feel like more honesty comes out of it. It's not, there's not as much putty fiddling around with a lot of stuff. It's just
Did you say puddly fuddling?
I couldn't think of the word. I've heard
pussyfooting.
Yeah, but I've heard different words that people say, and I couldn't. That's what I came up with for the word. Putty fiddling around.
Hold on, I got 9 seconds left. 9 seconds. 9 seconds. Please.
5, 4, 3.
Bam.
2.
Got that shit. I just robbed your ass, nigga.
Oh no. Who would have saw that coming?
What is it Will Smith says when he punches the alien?
Wait, with what?
Will Smith, what does he say?
Welcome to Earth.
Welcome to Earth, yeah.
There you go.
Welcome to getting mugged, nigga.
Charlie's got a question here.
Yeah, I saw it. So the big question, will Methgator be using Ripascent? If anything, you should at least get a quote so you can I should go through the application process. That's hilarious. That's funny. You should gay up them. Yeah, just expose like, hi, I would like to blah blah blah. I want to put Methgator on your storefront. Mollycoddling was the word you're looking for. Mollycoddling.
Maybe. I guess pussyfooting is. I've heard like somebody. There's some other words I've heard where people say that.
Ricky's directed some stuff.
So like I haven't done anything that's like feature film, but I have directed a couple of short films and stuff. Check it out on my channel if you want. So the Rookie's Quest trilogy is probably the most known thing I've done, which is probably the most cringiest thing I've done as well. So check that out if you want. I've got the Fat Speedster 5 episodes of that on there. I'm working on a continuation of that series now with a couple people, so I'm trying to get that out by the end of the year. But I got a couple things that I've done.
Wait, Ricky, are
learning.
you sub to this Pilgrim guy, or is this just like an algorithm thing? That video about
It was,
Attack on Titan?
they were all algorithm things. You
Okay.
type up one, you'll get
Yeah.
one video, and then you get all these results. But then I was finding some people that I kind of liked, so I was like, okay, shit,
Okay, I just
all
didn't know your history, because I'm like, I'm gonna start deep
Yeah,
diving, because
no.
I have one pulled up that I'm gonna watch some point by him. His last one. It's not fascism, bro.
Yeah, no, I think it was because I watched. I think it was even. I don't know if it was because of Mahler's Lord of the Rings watch, but Lord of the Rings things were getting suggested, and one of them had a video I wanted to see, and then
Yeah, he's got
they
a
had
video.
they had Attack on Titan as well, and I was like, oh shit, let me see Attack on Titan, and then all these other ones are coming up too. So
Yeah, he's got a video. Podcast with Master Samwise, and the title on the top of the thing says "Masculinity, Monomyth, Ideology." And it's got Aragorn, Airbender, and Luke Skywalker. See, I'm
Yep.
just gonna deep dive so much videos that reference Last Airbender that I'll never have to watch it.
well, no,
and
it's
that makes
I
me
know
happy.
that's fine. You'll never watch it, but there's still funny things I'll share with you maybe sometimes that are pretty funny.
Yeah,
with
it's gonna be one of
it.
those. I'm like, ha ha ha.
like even just the character they do some funny things with earth bending. There's a guy that's called the Boulder, who's basically the rock. He's like, the Boulder is gonna crush you with a rocket-a-lanche. It's like, what?
Oh,
Great.
okay. I clipped this because I don't know how it works, if there's like a communication, but biggest problem in the universe, Vito and Dick, my favorite show, their bonus episode, for a reason, they're like unlisted video playlists, like because essentially, if you're a Patreon member, if you want to watch the stream, it's on YouTube unlisted, so you can either watch the YouTube link through the Patreon, or you can go to YouTube, and for a reason I can see the unlisted videos. So I'm assuming the Patreon is communicating the access I have. I don't know, but regardless, I just happened to, like, that's how I saw the bonus episode, was just directly through YouTube. Wasn't even aware of going through Patreon to watch it, and so I downloaded the whole thing on my phone to listen to it at work on my earbuds, and it's all about Final Fantasy. I played a little bit of Final Fantasy in like one game. Don't know what number it was. Just don't give a fuck. What is the iconography of Final Fantasy, Ricky, besides Tifa? I don't know. Like, strangers can be like, oh, Star Trek? Yeah, the Spock guy. I know.
Yeah,
it's
see,
20
I was
years.
thinking of actually a different one now. I was thinking of Soul Calibur, where it just had like a mix of other characters from other things in them. I don't even know. I have no idea what Final Fantasy is.
Yeah, besides Tifa, Final
No
Fantasy
idea.
has no fucking iconography.
Tifa was a Japanese character from some Japanese anime.
She's from fucking
I don't
Final
know.
Fantasy.
Yeah, but I thought it was just a Japanese anime. I didn't even know it was a video game.
Yeah, so this is what I'm getting at. It's like why I don't give a fuck about Final Fantasy. Well, I'm never.
That's such a
digging into it.
generic name. I mean, Star Wars is more specific than Final Fantasy to me. Like,
But
I don't know
anyway,
what that
I
means.
clipped the intro, and it's been a good little promo for Biggest Problem. They've retweeted it. Vito's retweeted it. Dick's retweeted. So I'm like, all right, getting a little love. So if you haven't seen their bonus episodes versus if you've seen their regular, normally it's like, all right, kick off the show, and they got like the beat for a couple like bars, and like Vito's like, biggest problem in the universe. And it's like fun, and Dick is like, welcome, and then it like cuts. It's like a 20-second. Well, biggest problem bonus are amazing because Vito has this character he's made called Deep State Derek. It's like kind of like an Alex Jones. So here you go.
Oh no.
What the fucking shit is this? My fucking wife left me and my kid got both his arms ripped off by a fucking gorilla. Wow. And I don't give a shit because it's time for radio, baby. Biggest motherfucking problem in the fucking universe, you cocksuckers. You'll never take it away from me. It's mine.
I think he burnt a couple calories there doing all the yelling, man. That's the most energy I've ever seen him exert, man. Yeah, all right. More of that. I'll help him.
God damn, like it's so
There you
funny.
go.
He just keeps rattling. This is all on a stream of consciousness of his mythos of his character.
There you go.
I love it. It's so fun. it's so fun to be like on this. It's all organic for me too. Like the detracting, like I'm just naturally like a fan of these guys. They're funny, and then you know, I start backtracking, watching old shit, and I find like the stream with the super killer art, the George Floyd art, you know, that Goalpost made famous. It's so
I
fun,
wouldn't have
man.
seen it if it wasn't for him sharing it, honestly.
Right. It's like he's the biggest gay op. Ripper Goalpost is out for himself. He's just playing both sides. He brought BTM reviews up. A guy with like 5 subs and like 2 followers on Twitter. And he's like, detractor alert.
To me, that reads as follow this guy. He's
Like,
a
go
detractor.
watch this guy
He's
in
a
his
detractor. Follow
videos.
him.
And now he's making videos that get over 1,000 views. He's already 1,000 subs. He's doing great. So thank you, Goalpost. Like, you are the biggest gay op. Let me see. Is it on YouTube? Yeah. Biggest Problem's hilarious. I guess I'll share the link of the channel if you are somehow detracting and not actually aware and following them because they're funny as fuck. I love how like sometimes they'll have problems where it's like these are really deep thought out problems, but then iconic problems will pop up
It's
like
like PNGs not having
ratchet
the
strap.
regular backgrounds.
yeah, ratchet straps voted up. Like literally he's like normally they do like a 5-minute spiel. They might have like you know, articles supporting evidence, statistics. Like Vito had the statistics about too many Asians at Costco.
Which sounds silly at first, but then take a closer look.
Yeah, right. And but yeah, one time recently Dick's like, yeah, you know, ratchet straps, and you know, you try to put it on, and then your dad like, you know, makes you feel like a fucking retard. Yeah, man, ratchet straps. That's my problem.
I like how often though, like Vito will describe whatever problem it is, and then Dick's like, "What the hell was your problem in the first place? What was it?" He's just like, "I don't even know." Like,
yeah, he's like,
he's like, I don't actually know what my problem is. He's like, your problem is what? Like too many people somewhere? Yeah, okay, sure.
I feel like what they got is kind of how most people that are like weed addicts, the stoner bros, think they have like an energy to them about like their stream of consciousness.
Yeah.
All right, let me see. Shit. Let me see what I sent myself. I sent myself today. Oh, okay. I guess you can talk about the Ackman thing. I've only watched like half of that video he put up. I have no, you know, real context for understanding him.
Right. Well, I mean,
Or
I
this
don't.
problem.
I didn't look into all of it either. All I know is it stems from as his fucking pronouns. It stems from that era of stuff. And Starfield, Sweet Baby Inc. I don't know what the fuck that is or whatever, but apparently there is supposed to be some connection to Starfield, but then Ackman looked into it, said there isn't. I don't know. He called as a gorilla or something, a gorilla that should be hunted down and shot. I don't remember what the actual thing was. So there was some beef that started. He was interacting with people. A lot of people saw Ackman as a shill, I guess, but I don't know. Based on everything else he's done, I wouldn't think that he is one, but I don't know. And then I don't know, somebody was comparing Memology 101 did a couple of tweet threads that were showing, you know, how it was going, how it's going now or whatever. And then Ackman responded to that. And then somebody else was saying there's some back and forths were happening. And then he said that there's a third party that Ackman's been talking through because as has him blocked or something or won't follow him. He doesn't want to have any conversation. He said, you missed your chance for a conversation or something. And it's just like, okay. I mean, that's one of those things where it's like, you know, how did it go with the Director X stuff where, I don't know if you're paying attention
he
to
looks
that.
retarded.
It seems kind of like that where he will say some things, but then
has no fucking balls to engage.
Refuse to talk to them, and he'll say the reason is because they're not going to be genuine or something. They don't want to actually have a genuine conversation, which to me it's like, I feel like that's irrelevant. If you're on stream and you have something that you want to say about them or something, I don't know, especially if you're going to have it on your channel, you could monetize it. I don't know. There's a lot you can do there, and it seems like both parties acknowledge they are YouTubers, and this is a thing that happens. But it seems like Az will take the stance as if he's got a moral high ground or something compared to other people. And it's like, I don't know. With the content you post, I don't see why you wouldn't have a hash out with them. That's what they used to do all the time, and now they just don't do that anymore at all. It seems like the hater streams with Jeremy way before Eric, and then Eric stopped doing that. Like I don't know what changed with all this stuff. That everybody wanted to hash things out with each other, you know?
Yeah, it's all bitch made. All bitch made.
But yeah, I mean, I sent you a video, and I didn't know how much more you wanted to go into it or not, but that was about all.
Yeah, apparently they're kicking off Gamergate 2, which is awesome. The sequel.
It doesn't sound as fun if there's not a woman to make fun of with it all, like Anita Sarkeesian. No,
Well, that's it's like
I mean,
this
it's
whole
kinda like-
detracting Eric.
I don't know.
It's very war campaign. Like war campaign was fun. We meme people. People cry about memes. We meme them crying about memeing. It's just like, you know, you feed us, we'll meme you. And like,
Yeah.
and it's got the same energy. And we haven't even dildo memed people. I think Az got like one dildo meme because of his like pronoun picture or whatever.
A little. And it's like, I mean, I can, so with Az's thing, with the Starfield thing, yeah, I can understand, like, yeah, them shoving things into a bunch of stuff is annoying. That part is true. But the main thing people are pointing out is the way he's freaking out about it is kind of silly. And that seems to be the main takeaway. But then he and other people take it as, you know, if it's not a problem, then why do you bring it up or something? And it's like, I don't know. You said it on the internet.
It's a feature you can
It's a thing on the
choose.
internet, and then people respond to what you say on the internet. To when people act like surprised how things get a trend, or things spread around, or things get moved. I don't know. That's what they seem to be baffled by that. I don't know.
People are not wrong when they say like a kind of, it's like a backhanded, just, you know, there's more to it, but they're not wrong when they say, if we were like, oh man, thank God YouTube wasn't around like the 60s, because they would be crying about civil rights and you know, the horror kiss of Shatner on Star Trek, the first interracial kiss. They would cry about that. And I'm like, yeah, I think they would. Now the whole civil rights thing is very loaded, because of course you're just supposed to say, well, that was clearly a good thing. It's like, I don't think the state compelling you to do business because they're black or whatever. It's like, I know I think you should be able to refuse anybody you want. You know, shouldn't have to employ people. If you want to be racist, I think it's your prerogative. You'll lose or gain whatever business because of that. Larry Elder, you know, fucking Eric Juneteenth loves to try to invoke his name. It's not Larry Elder. That's the California guy. Thomas Sowell. I think it was Thomas Sowell. No, it might have been Larry Elder, actually, that on Dave Rubin's stream brought this up, where he's like, yeah, you're from Chicago. You go to Little Italy and you're black. You don't go there. You don't eat food there because you're black. And they're going to spit in your food because they don't like black people. Then more black people take over the community. Now these fuckers want your money. So now they play nice. So, like, situation dictated cohesion. It was organic. It wasn't forced, is the point. And he's like, it's not really a good, you know, we like to think it's a good thing. And, well, he stopped racism with the Civil Rights Act. It's like, arguably, you've like made it worse. now look at where we're at. You know, it's like, oh, look, a diversity hire. You know, anytime you see a black person in a job now, that's going to be a thought that comes across people's minds. Like, would they really earn it?
We went from a time where that literally isn't something that the majority of people think of to now that is the only thing most people will think of, because that's what they also say that they want. So it's like, I don't know. Yeah.
This
is more on our minds than ever before.
This makes it worse. You know, like, this what people don't get is like, yeah, Civil Rights Act. We love to pat ourselves on the back for that. But it's like black people, white people were equating financially. The gap was closing in the 50s. And also you had family. Brev Kev. Oh man, it's someone else I've been thinking of.
What's up, Broski?
I wasn't dreaming about you like I was Yaira, but I actually was thinking about you recently. And then you posted like a weight loss picture journey. And I just never actually hit you. I'm like, man, we got to reconnect because DC plans. You're a Superman guy.
Yes.
He's
gonna be in my continuation of the Fat Speedster as a character. So that'll be fun.
Oh, you know, you should have him be future Jeff.
An in shape old man, sort of. That's real.
You're like Oh no, I'm bald in the future.
This can't be happening.
Um,
And if you stay fat, you won't lose all your hair. Well, you give me that Twinkie, which I don't even like, honestly. So that's even funnier. Angus is
sorry about that, people. That was a live reaction. This is how I am on the phone all the time. We talk about food. Again, Rookie's fat like me, so it's like, oh, food. We love food. And I'm like,
Mhm.
man, yeah, you tried. Clearly, you got to try that. And you're like, nope, never had. I'm like, what? It means the most
Yeah.
simple shit. You know,
Mhm.
You're like, I don't like candy. I'm like, what? How are you fat?
Most candy. I like Kit Kats, Nestle Crunch, Smarties, bottle caps, whatever. But if you listen to most candies, I probably don't like them.
You like fucking 1970s candy.
If you're to be like, here's a Twix, here's a Butterfinger, here's a
Oh, yeah, all
Snickers,
those.
here's
Yeah,
all these things, I'd just be like,
yeah, you've rattled off great
Yeah.
shit. Amazing.
I'd be for
yeah.
M&M's, Kit Kats, Nestle Crunch, Smart. Yeah, I've almost pretty much listed through the majority of candies that I like already, so I could probably count them all on the
Almond
two
Joy,
hands.
Mounds, Zeros,
No.
Reese's Pieces,
No,
Reese's
jelly
Cups.
beans, no.
Wait. Jelly beans? You can literally choose what flavor of jelly bean you get.
Well, to be fair, I've never had a jelly bean, so I can't judge.
How are you going to
that I
fucking
get,
say, oh, no, I don't like that? Never had it.
See,
this is the
no.
retardation I deal with.
People do no. This is the shit that I got to deal with people that misunderstand me. For the
You
most
literally
part, I
said,
say
don't like
I
jelly
haven't.
beans. And you're like, I never had one, but I don't like it, though.
I probably don't like jelly beans.
Well, it's weird if you like because you're like, oh, Smarties. It's like it's kind of in that realm. It's like it's like usually most flavors are like fruity.
I don't know. They never looked good, and based on a couple things I've had that I don't know reminded me of jelly beans. I was like, no.
It's like you can
So-
like my favorite flavor. I find the exclusive packs, or I find a candy store that sells jelly bean exclusive flavors. It was like they got like hey, you want instead of like a whole big mix, they got like hey, here's this flavor. Scoop the one flavor of jelly bean chew bag. Favorite flavor, buttered popcorn. Love it because it's like kettle corn. It's like salty, sweet.
See, to me, I'd just be like, why have the jelly bean flavor thing when I could just have?
Because I want candy. I want the
thing that's
texture.
better
I don't
than the
want
candy. Like,
I don't want
know.
popcorn. I don't want kernels in my teeth. I want tooth decaying sugar on my teeth right now that tastes like that popcorn.
Yeah, I'd be the most disappointing fat guy for people that like want to date an average fat guy. Like, oh, he's a fat guy all day or something. It's like, oh, do you want to have cake? No. Do you want to have brownies? No. Do you want to have like okay, shit. Do you want a chocolate sundae? I mean, I could have ice cream, but I don't really care about sundae really. You'd be like, oh my god, hot fudge. I never had hot fudge, but it doesn't look like I'd like it. Maybe so I don't know.
It's chocolate.
Something like that. Maybe.
It's a nice contrast with the ice cream.
Maybe. Some things I haven't tried, but I'll be willing to try, sure. But the majority of when I only like one out of like 20 things, I can easily kind of say that I don't like a lot of stuff, but then maybe I'll try some and maybe it'll turn out that I like them. But if I, whenever I say I don't like most things, people say I don't like anything anyway. So that's just what I kind of roll with.
Yeah, see, that's frustrating for me because like how I grew up was like retarded mom that in a way liked a lot of things where it's like, oh, she'll try, we'll eat Chinese, we'll eat Mexican, we'll eat Japanese, etc. But she'll only get like one thing every time, the same thing. And it's like, how do you go to like a Mexican buffet like Poncho's Texas and you just get like the one dish? Like there's always so much to try for the same price, like I don't get it. Like,
this is
why limit yourself?
This is why it's funny. Angus and I are almost opposite in so many fucking ways, and people would probably wonder, how are you guys even friends? It's like, I don't know. It's somehow
I think it's the brainwaves.
It works with this.
We have a certain we're on around the same frequency about inquiry. I think
probably because it's like, well, you just described. I'm just like, well, first of all, why would you go to a Mexican restaurant? Like, that's
what.
It's just like, if like I'd be like, I probably don't know if I'd like most of that food, so I'll just go with something else that I'd subvert it even more and I'll just go to what I'm even more familiar with and do that. But
I'm
I have
always-
evolved. That was me when I was younger. As we're referring to when we were younger. Nowadays, I am way more willing to try stuff. I've advanced from when I was a kid. I would only get plain chicken. I would only be the classic as you can get, plain chicken, whitey, no flavor thing. To where now I can't have chicken like that because that I now know of flavor that I like applewood for one, and it's like, man, I can't just have plain chicken. I got to at least have this flavor, and I'm willing to try other flavors, but not some things.
Wait,
Some things
sorry.
I tried a
I'm
lot
an
of.
idiot this whole
Like,
time. 1 second.
With what?
One
Yeah.
second. There we go. I hope Revco's still in the chat. He might appreciate this gag.
Maybe.
Might like it. Sorry. This whole
Oh, your
time,
hat.
I
Your hat,
forgot
of
to wear
course.
my
Yeah, your Amos
detracting
hat.
hat.
Yes.
If you can't see, if you don't know why this is a special
To make
hat,
yourself
it's-
bigger and
it
whatnot.
says Isom Bros Angus.
What are the odds? And he did not make this hat. This
This is not. No, it's
is
not.
the hat
This is
that
a
he
legitimate
purchased.
brand. I think from like the 90s. It's a legitimate like farm in I think Iowa or Illinois.
Yeah.
I looked up Isom hat on eBay. There's one listing for like $600 with like a big pack of Isom garbage and the hat. I wanted the hat because the hat is illegal now. Can't have an Isom hat if it's not from the Good Shepherd Ministries, which Rippaverse is not affiliated with. If you don't know,
As I say, what if all these other businesses that had ISOM in their title, like, yeah, now they're all fucked. Angus just put himself out of the stream entirely and made me the center. There you go.
And so I saw this and I pretty much I requested, offer like half the price they were asking, and they're like, sure.
Fuck yeah, all
So
right.
this is my detracting hat. It's my official detracting hat. Isom Bros Angus. Because what more of a perfect hat than that encapsulates everything this last like half year for me than this hat. This is amazing. Let me find my post when I shared it on Twitter.
If only it was like red or something to better go with.
No,
your
I like
channel.
how it's totally like outside of the. I mean, the green's fine, but brown. It's a farmer hat.
Yeah, the
it's-
brown. Yeah.
It's perfect. Let me see. I gotta catch up on some stuff.
Yeah, people probably don't like our food conversation because it's not anywhere near the pop culture detracting or anything. So
yeah, I just gotta find this picture.
when we hang out in May, that's gonna be funny. Yeah, he's all for going to gas stations and just like getting
Yeah, because I
food
need
there.
gas because I have a car.
No,
and
but going there to get food, and it's like it's not where you go. and
It's
get
like, no, I'm
food.
going to get a Coke because it's like, I want to go all the way across town, waste like 15 minutes trying to get a
Oh,
soda.
no. Hold on, no. It's not just I'll get a soda or something. No. You said you want to get like tacos there and like whatever burrito,
I
like
got a
gas
Taco
food.
Bell for that.
You get gas food.
I get like
there.
a slice of pizza or like a breakfast burrito at the gas station because like they have it warm and it's on the way to work. I'm already getting a coffee. Oh yeah,
You-
like
no,
the marathon, they have like a deal where it's like get a coffee and McMuffin sandwich.
That's not how
for
you
$3.
put it to me before. You put it to me like you want to go, like not even the getting gas part at the gas station. You want to just go into a gas station and like browse for food.
Oh
and,
yeah,
like,
I
get
browse
food
because like
there.
that is kind
Like,
of
not-
the
if you're traveling or you're going to work or whatever, I feel like those are more specific reasons.
now
to
gas stations are
go
great
there,
to
not
find
because
new
you
flavors.
want to. That's just
but,
where it's there.
like you'll find the new additions of like, hey, here's a new Reese's cup with potato chips in it. You're gonna find that at the gas station before you find it at Walmart. That is
Yeah.
the evolutionary plane of convenience, leisure foods like candy and chips. You find the new flavors at the gas station first.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's why I know I don't like the new barbecue that Doritos does. It's very disappointing.
Mm.
I'm just scrolling through, and I know I'm close. Oh wait. Hey, you go to my Twitter and look at my recent media because I share like a comic page. We can talk about that while I'm looking for this. Okay, I found it.
Okay, cool.
Here we go. I'm going to show you detracting. So here's me when I got my hat. I said, "Look at me, Eric. I'm the rancher now." Go wrangle me up some my psalms. Take that however you wish.
Get them all day long, buddy.
Cap's always like, why? EVS like this post. It's funny because it's like such a lame hat. It's not like,
Yeah,
"Ooh,
it's pretty
that's a
basic.
fucking-
That's what I meant.
that's
Is like it's
that's
such a
nice
basic
like
hat.
NBA or NFL with like you leave the sticker on. It's just a basic farm hat from a apparently defunct ranch.
Yeah.
What a fun organic fun. This is to show you how invested I am in detracting. I love this hat. Even Rev Kev's getting a kick out of it. Rev, what do you think of this whole? I'll send you a link if you want to hop in. I don't know how much you've been following. I know you're a Drunk 3PO fan. Never read his book, but I am an ambassador for the chat. I am doing like Nerd Dragon Company, which I actually believe in being an ambassador to watch and just bad stuff, or to be like, hey, I'm your first line of defense, to know if like I'm your barometer if you want to engage a thing. Is it woke? Is it worth seeing? Should I go see Barbie? Because I hear it's really feminist. And like, yeah, but that's why it's amazing.
Yes.
Because they totally failed.
Yes, they failed at what they wanted to do there.
It's like,
Entirely.
how are you so smart and been like to law school and you can't piece out the like fucking face plant that Barbie is for its intent? Like, oh, a Barbie movie about the titular toy line for girls starring hot babe from Wolf of Wall Street, Margot Robbie. And guess who the star is? Ken. He doesn't even have a house. Ken's are
Well, it was funny too. Most people that talk about Barbie talk about Ken more because nobody's like, oh yeah, you know the character Barbie. No, most people are talking about Ken usually when they talk about the movie.
Yeah, it's like
Honestly.
it literally had a trans Barbie. Like there's a trans woman played a Barbie, and no one talked about how woke it was because the trans bar, because they played it like a woman. They played it straight, and it's like it's a very binary film.
Yep.
I plan to do a video actually. I'll have to grab my paper in a minute to read the title, but it's going to be about like what has become of the fandom menace and woke anti-woke commentary. I wrote in. I don't know if I want to keep the title, but I'll let you kind of be my first. You, the chat, and Ricky be my first line of shopping the pitch title.
Gotcha.
Rev Kev. There you are. I was like, wait, is it under Reverend Keverend? There you go. There's a link if you want to hop in if you're free. Understand if you're not. Let's go to Katie Did's channel. Katie Did.
And she stopped by a little bit ago too in the chat.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't. I think I clicked on it. I meant to say, "Hey, Katie," and I fucked that up. Don't know if I was detracting or what happened.
Yeah.
I forget. You don't have the garage pies in the U.S. That's the go-to food at 3 a.m. when nothing else is open. Garage pies. Could you explain that?
I think he's saying like gas station pie, like something like that is what he's referring to.
I got a fry pie. Like they sell like I think Hostess or Little Debbie sells like fry pies, but there's like a more or less like a meat deli close to my house that they get meat from, I guess like 4-H like farmers, whatever, in the county north of us. So they love bragging like, we got X county beef, and I'm like, okay, like, cause I made a comment where it's like, I'm like, how much is that per pound, whatever? And like, oh, it's that, and I'm like, I'll save at Kroger on that item. I wasn't saying I wasn't gonna buy anything from it. I'm just like, I'll get that at Kroger,
Right.
and like, this is X county beef, and I'm like, okay, like
Washington State beef, Angus. It tastes like Washington State.
gross.
Yes.
But no, they have some fry pies there too, and they're like more. You at least assume like a real company, mom and pop kind of company. They're fucking good. I got like a Bavarian cream one, and then there was like I think raspberry cheesecake fry pie. Fuck, that was good. Ricky's never had a fucking cheesecake.
Nope.
Which is crazy. So like, yeah, again, if my mom's like, you go to a Chinese place or a Japanese place, especially hibachi. Hibachi's amazing. And it's like, oh, they got sushi. I want to try that. No.
Yeah, well, I've tried 10 plates of sushi and those are all nasty. So no, thank you.
Well, my first time actually having sushi was in San Antonio when I was in medic training. And I was supposed to meet a girl there because I met her online. Because again, you're in training, so it's like hard to meet people. You're not really allowed off the base much. And first date, I'm supposed to meet at this Chinese Japanese place. They had sushi too. And I'm waiting there. I waited there for like 2 hours because she got on the wrong fucking bus. And so she had to get like a transfer bus across town back to me. So I'm sitting there for like hours. And I didn't know what sashimi versus sushi was. So I had a plate of just raw fish with nothing else. And I'm like, well, I already ordered. I can't really return raw fish. So I'm like, well, I'm stuck with this. So I just kind of like forced myself, you know, because like I'm paying for it. Might as well eat it. And then like some of the meat, like the tuna, raw tuna. I think I want to say the white tuna meat is really good raw. But what's up,
hey, how's it going, guys?
Are you a sushi guy?
I am actually.
Yes.
I am.
Yes.
There's actually a really good sushi place, like walking distance from my house, that now has the robots that bring you the food.
Oh, wow.
You actually order all your stuff off of an iPad, and then these robots come with these trays and
Domo arigato, Mr.
Yeah.
How do you handle complaints to the robot?
Make all these silly cat noises like Japanese anime kind of things. Like, oh, when you take the food from it and then it goes back.
That's funny. I saw a video recently where like someone got served by a robot and then like it like goes off and then it's like thanks babe or something, like smacks the robot's ass. And it's not even like a robot that has any like sexual defined features at all. It's just like it's like a R2D2 with arms kind of droid thing. And
that's hilarious.
So yeah, I don't know where the fuck AJ's at. Sorry, cursing. I don't know where AJ's at. Immortal. Whoopsie. I don't know if it's whoopsie on his part or what, but he knew I had him on the link this morning before I went to bed. And also told him the time. So don't know if this is like a F Angus move or if it's
probably not. Probably
a mix.
Probably a mix of schedule or something.
But
I tried. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask, are you a Dune guy? Did you get into Dune because of the movies, or?
So Dune is actually like one of my dad's all-time favorite books. So ever since I was a tiny kid, my dad was like, you got to read Dune, you got to read Dune. And I was a Star Wars kid through and through. So I was like, no, Dune is lame. Star Wars, and nothing but Star Wars.
Yes.
So
it's funny because
I still haven't read it. I really like the movies. Like the movies are pretty epic. I
am going to send you a link because I've only watched about 30 minutes, but it's really good. There's I don't know if you're a Game of Thrones guy or not, but
that I've never watched.
Oh man, you're gonna love it. I mean, it's got nudity. It's got, especially the first few seasons. That's like a big sell. Is like the HBO sex appeal, but it's like Playboy. It's a big gay op to mind hack you to actually watch a intensive political theory show.
Well, and again, there's not as much as everybody conflates there to be in it. Because before I watched, everybody was like, "There's all these dicks around and all these." It's so bad.
I think we saw 3 wieners. I was like,
there was maybe 3 in the whole show over like 80 hours. There's maybe 3,
and that's not even why I didn't watch it. It was just I don't know. It didn't have HBO when it started, and then it was like too long, and then we don't tend to watch a lot of TV, and when I do sit in front of the TV, like the time is very.
I got you. Yeah, well, each episode is an hour. Yeah, so I can see that too. It's not like
it's very worth it, even with the fallout of the last season. Yeah, well, I'd say last 2 really, but even with
see, because that's what other people told me about The Walking Dead as well. You got it. So I finally gave in, and I watched the first one. Okay. And the opening scene was the stupid little zombie girl walking down the street, and the sheriff creeped the bejeebies out of me, and I turned it off, and I cannot watch it. It just gave me nightmares for a month. I just couldn't handle it. I don't know if I'm getting old, but it was just like, nope.
Yeah, you're like, I can't. I don't need that. I don't need that intensity in my life right now. We're good. Don't need that right now. Yeah.
Creeped me out. I was just like, yeah, it was funny. Of course, my kid thinks I'm a wuss, but that's okay. I live with that.
God will protect you. Don't
There
worry.
you go. Guard my heart.
All right, I am sending this link to you so you can check it out. Maybe get intrigued maybe by Dune. This channel's really good because he's a big Game of Thrones channel.
Okay.
Let me see. Fine. There you are. Okay. It's a hassle trying to stream in links and
You gotta throw something to me to distract the conversation while you do that.
I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, I'll show something. Get RevKev's thoughts on this. I shared this morning. Because there's this. So, did you ever check out Berserker with Keanu Reeves?
No. I don't think I've even heard of that.
Okay, so Berserker, I want to do a really deep dive essay. I've only read like first volume. I have most of the series, if not all of it. And there's like a spin-off series or like a sequel series.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially it's more or less Keanu Reeves in the book. He's a co-writer. It's I think his idea, and then Matt Kent is kind of like the comic writer for it.
Yeah.
So that's my introduction to Matt Kent. Again, I'm a comics novice, so besides like Mark Millar with Civil War or Bendis with like his run with like House of M and stuff, and Marvel and the Resurgence and the X-Men, all that. The names aren't a real sell, but once I Frank Miller's name is attached to something, I'm going to like be intrigued because I've read Dark Knight, Alan Moore with Watchmen, and Swamp Thing.
Yep.
You're in for a treat, or you're in for like at least an attempt at a mind-bending story, especially if it's like a readaptation of something.
Right.
So reading Berserker, it's very interesting because it's essentially it starts out with like, it's crazy. They gotta like I guess unkidnap a kid of like a president or something. It's like a hostage situation, and he's got like this military team, they're like chop or whatever. But then Berserker's kind of like Wolverine. He's like immortal. He can blow him up, tear him up, stab him, shoot him. He's just gonna bowl through everything, and he's gonna recover. It's painful, but he's immortal. He won't die. And you find out that he goes back to like in between like cavemen and like, Iron Age, whatever. And he is like this godsend prayer for this tribe. And then like they wreck their valley, they take over and become like warmongers, and becomes this tool for his surrogate father.
Okay.
And you're waiting to see where it progresses in that backstory, but like you find out that like essentially he's like a god, and at least a demigod, and he's like he's been around for like 20,000 years. He's like meandered through all sorts of societies, and just kind of because history's already happened, so you kind of have to like work them into our history. Otherwise, you gotta make a whole new story,
Right.
And so it's like he's just kind of observed history, and he's like trying to find a way to die. It's a very interesting idea. Like thinking about like if you're Jesus and you have all this power, and it's like I just want to die. I'm tired.
Well,
It's vampiric.
Wasn't that a little similar to like if you ever read like the old like Interview with the Vampire books back in the day?
Never
That
read
was
those.
kind of
I'm
the
interested.
The whole idea was you had the vampire Lestat who needed to turn someone else, like a younger generation person, into a vampire to help them adapt into the new world. And if they couldn't adapt, they would just go into kind of this sleep because they just couldn't cope with the immortality. It was kind of a neat idea.
Yeah, that's interesting. I am aware of the Interview with the Vampire in the film. I want to watch it and then maybe read Anne Rice's story.
Yeah.
But Matt Kent, knowing his name, having experienced some Berserker, which I think they're adapting on Netflix, so I'm very excited. I don't know if Keanu's going to be in it or not, but it's pretty much him in the book. So like, I hope
Right.
it is.
Yeah, for sure. It makes sense.
And so the name carries weight for me, Matt Kent, from my experience. And so I remember getting the first issue of Fear Case from Image, and I really liked it. And so recently I found it's only a 4-part series, so I bought all 4 issues on eBay, and I read it last night. Really like it, but the very ending really pissed me off. So the premise is like you're following Secret Service guys, and it's like the last week that they're assigned this case. So like guys in Secret Service are assigned this case for 1 year, and then it gets passed off. And they've been following this case. It goes back to like I don't know, South America or something. And the whole thing is like you give it to the one you hate the most,
Okay.
or it will go to the one you love the most, and they're going to die. And so it's like this, it's kind of like It Follows. I don't know if you know that movie, but it's like that kind of premise, but with sex, where like there's some sort of entity, some force that you have to like sexually transmit. So there's like this long daisy chain of sex passing off this thing that just follows you. It's a slow thing. It can shapeshift, whatever, but it's just this thing that's going to kill you. So you have to keep passing it off. And so you have to keep the chain going. Otherwise, they'll start killing everyone through the chain until someone else can pass it off. So, very interesting. At the end of the movie, in that movie, someone who gets it, because I think he likes the girl that has it as a problem, he passes it off to a hooker. So who knows where it's going to go after that.
Yeah.
Very interesting little answer, at least to stave off the entity. So Fear Case, that's kind of the premise. You get assigned for it for a year, because any time longer to like make you crazy, I guess, trying to like uncover this thing. And they actually like follow the trail to get to it. And one guy's like a real believer in like supernatural and sci-fi and shit. And the other guy is just like this hardened, grizzled, senior over him. And he's like, man, don't get too interested in this shit, man. And his buddy ends up, I guess, finding it, opening it, it kills him. And then like they find it, and so like the organization grabs it and I guess puts it in some facility, and they try to open it behind glass, and then you get this cut where like they all die from opening it. And then our main guy, he takes it and he's going to start using it and giving it to people that are bad. And anyway, so like this is the first cover. This is a spread toward the end of the book. All right. And so it's like, it's, actually just like all the evils of history. And so it's got like, I'm not sure what the hangings are. It's got like trench wars, the A-bomb drop, I'm assuming, Hitler. I don't know what this fist is exactly. If there's like a specific point in time where the fist symbol became like communist, Antifa, whatever.
Especially like with the holding the rock. It's like, it seems to.
Don't know what this arm is, but then you got like the ship, and I don't know if the ship's supposed to be like the slave trade or what. You got, it looks like the electric chair, witch burning, and then you got Hitler or Trump under Hitler. It's like he's just sitting at a desk,
right?
Yeah, and this is like a big conflation. So I said, reading Matt Kent's Fear Case, finally, of cool mystery detective story in 4 issues. And of course, there's a spread shot collage of various evil in histories, the A-bomb drop, witch burnings, Hitler, and Trump. I wonder if he'd include Biden, if made today, with his contributing to more Ukrainian deaths, stalling the inevitable Russian takeover, or doing nothing with the Palestinian genocide. I'm very much for creative freedom, but I really hate one-sided propaganda, especially when disingenuous entirely. As Trump is the first non-conflict president in 50, 100 years, totally like Hitler.
Right. Yeah.
Hitler was spreading the archaic Germanic borders. They are the they are the great men. They're the Ubermensch. There's this whole racial superiority angle with him. He's spreading the borders. He's spreading arguably tyranny. And then Trump's like, hey, let's secure our borders. Let's stay in our borders.
The annihilation, the murder of millions of people.
It's like so disingenuous. It's like, okay, I get if you hate Trump or what. It's like, this conflation just pisses me off.
Can't compare.
And it's like, man.
You don't have to be a Trump fan. Like to go, you could be anti Donald Trump's presidency and go, dude, that's not.
Yeah, it was
They're
just
not in the same category.
very frustrating to be enjoying such like an unrelated, he's kind of
Yeah.
out, and then it's like, oh, just so you understand what I think. And I'm like, oh, man, I'm still gonna
Yeah.
read Matt Kent shit. He's a good writer from my experience, but it's like, oh, come
Right.
on.
Yeah. But is that like a writer decision, or is that like an artist, decision? Like, how, I don't know exactly behind how the comic book industry works when they put a layout like that.
Well, Image is creator owned.
Yeah.
It's not like DC
Oh,
or
that's true.
Marvel.
Yeah.
So it's an Image comic. So
So he's a
again,
writer, like the writer artist, or there's different artists?
it's a writer and artist team
Okay.
or team.
Yeah.
There's like, I think 3 people in the book.
Okay.
It's just frustrating. It's like, man, like,
Yeah.
something I would never think to. I mean, I get their Secret Service, but it's like this whole book is like fantastical,
Right.
with the
Yeah.
template of Secret Service investigation.
Mhm.
And I never expected. It's like, come on, like,
Yeah. That's what's sad about everything. It's just these little political comments are just like in everything entertaining right now, right?
I don't mind more than I expose Ricky to like comic stuff.
Yeah.
We watched Dark Knight Trilogy, showed him Batman, Dark Knight Returns film.
Right.
It's very political.
Yeah.
It's clear.
Hmm.
Wait, hold on, let me catch in the chat. Yes, it's definitely an F Angus move. I have no idea. Collyanne, I love to try a meat pie or sausage roll. Yeah. Okay, so I like pot pies. That's what we call them over here in America, pot pies. But I've never seen one in like a store, like in a gas station. You can get a microwave, like Marie Callender. You're in South Africa, so I don't really know where you would get it in other countries. Yeah, we're talking about gas station food and stuff, and
Right.
out because
Okay.
like I go to work, I drive. Sometimes you just like, I don't have time. I woke up late. Let me grab something to eat at the gas station on the way to work.
Right.
Some things here, but we'd love to try it. Yeah, I'm very interested to see what South African food's like, because you got the Afrikaans, the black. It's like a weird African Dutch mix. But I wonder what like the white exclusive stuff would be like as
Right.
well.
Yeah. Yeah. I would have never even given that a thought. I have no clue what they would be eating.
Because I like German food. I like German
Yeah.
food.
Yeah.
I love I love a good
Sausages and
Jaeger schnitzel.
sauerkraut and beer. It's a good dinner.
Oh my god, yeah. But yeah, what's going on with Rev Kev? I've been meaning to check out your channel recently, but what's been going on?
Yeah. My channel's been slow the last little while. I've been actually just working on a few things, I think I'm going to bring some life back into this and get a little bit more active in it. And I'm kind of trying to split it up in 2 things. Like like you see in kind of my social media, I've been kind of in this fitness kick for the last couple of years. So kind of doing more and more with that, which is awesome and fun. So
Interesting.
coming alongside and working with different people to help other people kind of reach their goals that they want to try to hit in their wellness. So been doing that a little bit more, and getting more back into miniature painting more and more, and just kind of looking at different D&D things. Like I'm like, it's kind of funny. Like
That's
I'm really
the devil,
into D&D. I know, really into D&D, but I never play it. Like I just buy the books, but I never play it. So it's like, I'll get to playing eventually one of these days, maybe when I'm an empty nester or something. But so yeah.
Wait, how old's the youngest with you?
Well, my youngest is 21. She's actually the one who is gone right now, so she's out.
Oh, so you got an older kid back in the nest.
Well, only because like he would love to be buying a house, but the state of the housing market right now is. So
Are you still in Canada?
We are, yes. Yeah.
Silly
Yeah.
Rev Kev.
Yeah. I know.
You need to make it tone.
No.
What was the decision to stay in Canada versus like, because clearly you have like American ties to some extent. You've been down here. Why haven't you?
I have a lot of American ties, actually. I have a sister who lives in Tennessee. We've got a lot of different friends and colleagues all over the place. I never really looked at, I don't know, never really considered leaving. So
I don't know, just like because you're in the sphere, so politics comes up, not just because of entertainment,
Yeah.
He argued about like
Yeah.
escapism in politics, but
Well,
given the
and
politics of your country, I figured like, you know, you're
Well, I love politics. I really love politics, and so I live in the nation's capital of Canada. So
is that
I'm in
Montreal?
Ottawa.
Okay.
So like Justin Trudeau is just down the road. So my son works in politics. So I just love being involved. Like, and I'm secretly involved with it. I'm not public with all my stuff just because my position that I have as a reverend. I don't use my pulpit to promote one political party over another one, but I'm very opinionated on politics. I was actually literally just doodling an idea for a YouTube channel of getting like a Canadian beaver puppet, like in a Mountie uniform, and kind of have this secret. Now that I'm sharing this publicly, everyone's going to know it's me. But doing like this secret kind of Canadian politics channel with this, Canadian beaver Mountie kind of puppet. I thought that would be a lot of fun to get all my political stuff out.
That's pretty good.
That's fun.
Or maybe I should just one day retire and go into politics. So I'd try to be part of the change.
Well, yeah, that's interesting because like I used to be Catholic, like we talked about, and it was funny because out of nowhere, the bishop, this is like a decade ago, had been more than a decade because I went to the army in 2012. So I was, acolyte. And I remember at one point there was like this tape or something that the bishop of our diocese wanted played of himself. And it's pretty much like pro-immigration, like with it being, problem like Oklahoma is like the next step after Texas. So like, this is a problem, they ruin the job market, they're illegal. They're not they're breaking the law, and it's not like an unjust law, so it's like give to Caesar.
Right.
And then like more or less trying to invoke the whole, like, oh, you did this to the least of these. It's like, yeah, that whole diatribe Jesus talks about also says he visited me in prison, which means people pay for their crimes if they don't respect the law of Caesar. So I like how people try to like ham fist that message for like leftism. It's like, Jesus talks about hell a lot, like they love to forget that.
Yeah. Well, and we also forget, I was going to do it during the pandemic, but I figured I would wait until things calmed down a little bit. Like I was going to do like a month-long sermon series on, Jesus and politics, and actually, go through the Bible. And, when you got the Apostle Paul, St. Paul, telling people to pray for their government, he's actually talking about a government that's killing you. So he's talking about Rome.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, because I wasn't sure what letters and
he's talking about Rome. He's talking about people who persecute Christians. And you've got no rights here. Like, you don't worship Caesar. They think you're a cult, and you're going to pray, and you're going to live a quiet, peaceful life in that environment. And it's like, that'll, you don't see that a lot online.
That's interesting. Yeah. I never really thought about reading because I love watching like Kings and Generals, to the great military like history channel, especially like Alexander and Roman stuff,
right?
The War of the Diadochi after Alexander, all that stuff, and never really thought about the Roman influence and the politics once they're like stabilized in that region. When you get to the point of, because they would have had like Anatolian, that whole like Asia Minor, Turkey by the time Paul's around, because like they're already in Israel.
Exactly. Yeah, they're all over the place.
And Egypt. So
exactly.
Like, that's kind of their more or less their border.
Yep.
Because once they got like Parthia, there's just every time there's a conquest attempt, they'd either get beat back or then they have to pull out because other problems in the rest of Rome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then here you got this crazy cult of Christians who again won't worship Caesar. They worship another god. They don't believe in the multitude of gods of Rome, and they are teaching people to eat flesh and drink blood. The blood of the body of Christ and the blood of Christ through the Eucharist. And so it's like, kill them all. And Paul says, no, we're going to live quiet, peaceful lives. We're going to pray for them, and we're going to try to win as many people as possible through our quiet living. Not protesting, not fighting for our freedoms, but actually by dying. And so it's just a totally counter, you know,
Yeah.
rah rah freedom, Christianity, like a fight for my rights. It's like, dude, read your Bible. You have no rights. You're dead. You have a
That's
master.
funny.
Your master tells you what to do. You have no rights.
Yeah, no, it's funny because like there's things I'm aware of, like small things, just like men don't have long hair. You know, it's a very Enlightenment Christian era, especially like
Yeah.
1900s and on. This is like a Protestant angle that a lot of lower, I say lower in the sense of the history of Christendom and its deviations.
Right.
But yeah, that's like a common thing. Like long hair, no, you can't do that. You know, it's not masculine. It's like, well, that's all rooted in an interpretation of Paul talking about culture, what Corinthians, I think. And it's like, right, because women had short hair, men had long hair when they were hookers. This was like a
Exactly. Temple prostitutes. It was like, so you would be associated with that.
Yeah.
And you're trying to represent something different.
Well, it's funny because like this is what I hate about the Bible. And its teaching when it's disseminated is like no one, you need like a whole course and maybe an addendum Bible, study Bibles, whatever, of like full context of the archaeology, sociology, the other religions that were part of the theocratic mind of governments. It's not there. You have to piece all out and research it yourself. And preachers don't even know really a lot of times.
There's a lot of bad ones like us out there. So
yeah, and it's like it's so frustrating. For me being an atheist, where it's like, these things will come up where I start learning like these little tidbits and it applies. I'm like, well, this is like the world, Yeah,
exactly.
And you're like missing out, or like, they said this because they were in Roman occupation, or they said this.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's exactly like all like the worship of other gods and even some of the Old Testament stuff, like all the laws and the commandments and all that stuff. It's like, well, God's just setting people apart. It's not about the laws and the commandments. It's to be countercultural. It's to look at radically different than the rest of the cultures around that place.
Yeah.
Like how they handle food, how they handle slaves, how they handle women, how they handle their children. Like it's countercultural. Like it's just supposed to be different.
Summer Swan Winter Raven says, was going to make a dirty joke, but I guess not with the Reverend on the show.
You always can be you. I always tell people just whenever I'm on someone's channel, be you. They don't have to change for me.
So like, out of respect, I try to be conscious of like cursing, but being military and just modern day, it's hard to.
Okay, I'm not offended.
It's hard to actually censor. Just that's like that's so natural. And I work in a factory too, so we curse there too. So it's just it's normalized intensively for me. But I do try to be respectful in that.
I appreciate that.
So like you said,
so I had a mentor of mine years ago, so I stole this from him. I don't even remember who said it, but it's like whenever you take the text out of the context, all you have left is a con.
Ooh. Speaking of cons,
right? And I'm like, that'll preach.
I'm interested because like you're, I don't know how intensively you are with them, but you're a fan drunk 3PO. I think it's how you've kind of come up. You might be one of the first people you saw, I'm guessing, in our sphere of Phantom Menace.
Yep. It was.
Have you been watching
Drunk 3PO? Were the first people I got connected with, or found.
I do really. I don't know what he does. I know he's had multiple channels with the reused content problem, but the context how he delivers it's pretty funny. I like the John Talks little cuts, but
they're hilarious. They're well done.
Think he kind of is in the wrong for the rules with the reuse stuff. He's guilty, I think, but I miss those streams and his coverage, his commentary with like
I like him a lot.
So but have you been because you're a comics guy, you're a Superman guy, so have you been watching, you've been following the drama of the Rippaverse, ISOM and all this, Eric?
A little bit I try to avoid drama. I have enough drama in my job, like kind of coming alongside and helping people deal with their stuff, so I try to avoid drama in my hobbies and then whenever I can. But I bought the rip of the ISOM 1, ISOM 2. Like I love the idea of what they're trying to do. I love the concept of it. But I did a review of it, the comics, on my channel, and
man, we're gonna have to refap your review. Yes.
I don't think they were very good. Like I found the art to be pretty bad. I felt the story flow was pretty bad. Like again, but I love the concept of what they're trying to build. And like, so God bless you, man. Like,
No, that was why I backed too. I was like, the idea of the Rippaverse sounds
Yeah.
interesting, but then, well, that was the thing too. Even before buying the comic, I was like, now, is there anything anywhere that says what the comic's about in any way? No. And it's
Yeah.
just, okay, so then Angus told me about it. He read it first. And then I was like, I don't know, maybe if I read it in context, it makes more sense.
No. He was a
no.
total denier. He doubted me. You were
Yeah.
exaggerating. Like, why would you think me? I went in this I went in this
Yeah.
pure of heart, interested. I almost backed it, but it was a just money decision at the time. I'll have to go
Right.
pay at some point,
Yeah.
and pay the overhead. But
And honestly, I'm very, very picky on what I back with these kind of things because I get nailed with the US Canadian exchange rate,
Oh yeah.
the shipping to Canada, and then I got to pay duty on top of that, like when to cross the border. So
Oh, wow.
there's a million things like these independent comics. There's so many people I would love to support.
Right, but because you're in a different country, and you
Like,
have to
it's
be
3
very
times the
specific
price.
with, you're paying $100 or something for whatever just to get
For a comic book, yeah,
$25
paying
book.
$100 for a graphic novel. So it's really
Do
got to
you-
be something.
do you
that I-
back digital?
I haven't looked in. I prefer, like, I'm old,
Yeah.
so I prefer
Tactile
comic
in your
and graphic.
hand. I know it's there. That's where it is. How
Yeah.
can I lose
No,
it?
I agree.
All my
Yeah.
workbooks are digital. Like I buy all my workbooks 100% digital, but like all my ministry and pastor Bible books, but all my hobby books, my personal stuff, I like books.
No, I agree, but to
Yeah.
circumvent, like I thought about this, and when I'm able to make Meth Gator, I'll probably definitely have like a digital tier, like I don't know, $10, whatever seems appropriate cost wise for myself and for the backer,
Right.
versus physical. But also I'm thinking about doing a advanced digital, where I'm like have like it's the same thing, but you're gonna pay like a premium because like if you want to be a reviewer and
Right.
get it early, you can pay like $3. But yeah, I'll probably do a digital too because the foreign
Yeah.
people. Yeah, I told you I'm aware of the shipping.
Yeah, it's brutal. Like it's brutal, and it's cool. Like, and again, like even Isom, when it finally shipped, like I guess he worked out some kind of deal, and the shipping to Canada significantly dropped. And then when I saw that, and then when Isom 2 came out, then he had a deal, combining number 1 with number 2, and number 1 was like $7 or $8, something like that. It's like, okay, now it's worth it.
Right.
now I can get into it, and then that's when I ordered the 2, and
Mhm.
kind of read them in a weekend, and went, oh.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like 200.
I was hoping for a
pages
little bit
worth.
more, but
That's what's disappointing because it's like 200 pages, and it's like maybe 10, 20 pages worth of substance in combined,
well,
and it's
and-
like, oh,
yeah. Well, and like you were showing earlier, Agnes, okay, you showed that other comic with the 2-page spread, right? Like who cares about the Trump part? It was a beautiful 2-page spread. Like it was like there's like some serious work. If you're going to take 2 full pages in a comic book or in a graphic novel with no no words, a picture better be beautiful.
Yeah.
And that was one of my big comments about what I didn't like about the Isom stuff was it seemed like every few pages there was a full page spread of nothing happening.
Yeah. Well,
It's like,
when
it's a
there's
full-page
ones
spread
there's
of a
ones where
building.
he's sitting in different positions, and I think one in the second book where he just gets a gun, but that also doesn't come into play later. It's there's like 10 panels of his truck in different locations driving, but it's like all on the same road, and it's like,
Yeah.
what was the point of any of that? Or him walking or running, and it's like got 6 or 7 panels of that, and it's like, I don't know. What if you're gonna have multiple panels? Shouldn't there be a difference in each panel other than where his feet are? Like I don't know. It should be conveying something. Well, because that's my thing. That's why I'm critical with this. And that when I review other ones soon, I'll be just critical where I can be and praise where I can at the same time. But it's like with comics, it's different than movies. With movies, there's like there's the way people act, there's the dialogue, there's the sound, there's the music, there's like a whole bunch of factors. With comics, there's pretty much 2, maybe 3 things that are considered where it's how it looks with the art and visuals and the dialogue. And I mean, if you want to see the overall story or something, then it's like, that's all you've got to work with. So, you got to use that where you can. They got to be, that whatever you put is what's got to convey it on there.
Yeah.
This is I don't know if you've seen this go around, but EVS with his trash cast, he's been showing clips, which I've seen some of this before, but it's funny to rewatch, especially being in the chat. And this is Eric's song by Suit Yourself. It's his parodies of ISO 1 and 2. And I love this clip because it's kind of unrelated in a way with the whole story. It's just like a weird cut, but it's funny.
Tell me, what was your favorite part of Isom?
My favorite part of Isom is when he was thrown across the sky and landed on top of a parked car. Now, it isn't so much that he was thrown into a parked car. It was that all three Alpha Corps were standing around it, and not one of them decided to catch him.
You really blame them? Would you have caught Isom?
You make a good point. I don't think I would have.
Neither would I, my friend. Neither would I.
I guess that brings us to our message of the day for the kids. Kids, not everyone is worth saving. Not every comic book is worth buying. Some comic books look good, are created for an idea. People can rally behind an idea once. Create a good story, however, and the story will sell itself. The message today, kids, is that you do not have to back an idea if the product supporting the idea is absolute dog shit. Let me give you an example, kids. Imagine I created an ice cream, but the cause the ice cream was created for was to save all of Eternia. You bought the ice cream, tasted it, and it tasted like crap. Would you continue to buy the ice cream just to support the cause? No, of course not. Now imagine if you gave feedback to me, telling me how bad my ice cream tasted. Naturally, you would expect that the feedback would improve the ice cream, right? But what if I just decided to label you a detractor instead? Would you continue to buy my ice cream?
No, I would certainly not. Especially if I have given feedback and was then turned into the enemy. Feedback can help your product, which in turn can help your cause.
I am sorry to interrupt, but can we just get on with the fucking...
That's well done.
It is. It's funny. I'm like,
Hope that they make more like
He-Man?
that. That's pretty fun.
Well, it's funny because they make Eric look like retarded with his suit. He looks nothing like Isom. He's got this weird hair, but his dialogue, they make Isom's dialogue Eric isms,
Okay.
and it's
Oh, that's crazy.
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. And EVS has been watching parts of it on his trash cast.
So I've seen like a lot of the drama kind of on the sideline, and occasionally I'll watch occasional videos about it, but I don't engage with it all too much because I'm like,
Oh, Tim, what's up, buddy? Funny you say re-release the Snyder cut. That would be funny as hell. But yeah, Zack Snyder was just on Rogan yesterday or the day before. And there's a clip going around. Let me find Vex Electronica because she shared it.
Yeah, I sent it to you too. I sent you the message.
Oh, okay. Messages.
Or I assume it's the same clip.
Well, it's funny because I actually watched it. And there's a lot of good stuff in there. It's very interesting getting insight. Yeah, he said a lot of interesting stuff. He clearly knows a lot about the Spartans and stuff. He's talking about going to Greece and I think some shopping. He mentioned something like, yeah, it's that damn movie 300. And he's like, oh, yeah, like I made that. And then like the turnaround, like, oh, wow, you made a movie? Like, because I guess that movie's really like, I probably for shot stuff, it's really like I'm talking about it really solidifies its imagery for that moment in history. Love it or hate it, which I love it, especially learning more Greek history. The more I actually love that movie. It's already just inspiring and awesome and brutal and manly, but then you learn about the Spartans, you learn about Greece, and it's like, whoa. I don't know if you know this, Kip. I'm getting into Hellenism and stuff because I watched about Alexander.
Yep.
Learned about he carried the Iliad. That was his Bible. He was part of the cult of Achilles. His godhood when he went to Siwa, that might actually have just been more diplomatic with coalescing the Ptolemaic. Well, the Ptolemaic Egypt hadn't even started yet, but to coalesce with the Egyptians because of the respected godhoods, of the Mediterranean world. But it's very interesting. It's like my whole thing's like I've gotten hell because like, well, the greatest man arguably in history believed these gods, in the stories. This informed his worldview, and look at what he did. So it's like I think there's kind of a proof in the pudding conceptually that we, with
Right.
our mythology that we know of from them, we're totally missing actually the depth.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those like, and I'm sure you could pull all sorts of knights and kings of Europe and like, well, they were Christians. Why don't you buy into that? I'm like, lame. But yeah, let me play this clip. It's very interesting. I highly suggest watching the Snyder Rogan cut. It's very insightful. I'm sorry, Rick. I'm just trying to find where you're at my messages. There you are.
Well, because there's probably a lot of group chats that go to the top right away.
Okay, here it is. So people are really triggered by this clip, and I kind of get it, but it's like, wow, that's the one thing you took out of this stream. That's like toward the beginning. It's kind of a non-factor. Here we go. So the premise is Zack Snyder went on Joe Rogan. Oh my God, we dodged an effing bullet. This dude is so disrespectful to DC.
Like people are always like, well, Batman can't kill, right? So Batman can't kill is canon. And I'm like, okay, well, the first thing I want to do when you say that is I want to see what happens. And they go like, well, don't put him in a situation where he has to kill someone. I'm like, well, that's just like you're protecting your God in a weird way, right? You're making your God irrelevant if he can't be in that situation. Like,
what do you think of that?
That's an interesting take. So he's basically saying, so he's trying to piece together how the context of how he's saying this. So you got Batman who's got this rule.
Yeah.
No
So I mean, I
killing.
guess the situation, if we were going to try to boil down to one or something, because this is the thing, I don't think that he did it very well as far as putting them in those situations. But we're Superman. I guess he said Batman, but let's use Superman from Man of Steel. Have you seen that? Right. When Zod's lasering and he's trying to kill these people that are right to the right of the laser. He's trying to kill them. Superman's got his head in his hands right here. And it's like, okay, if he does it, the beam's getting closer and closer. If he's got a short amount of time, if he does not kill Zod right now, those people are dead. And so to save the people, and Zod's already caused all this destruction and all this stuff. He's got a vendetta. He'll never stop. It's like he makes a decision there to save everybody and save the planet. I've got to kill him, and does. But people go, he can't kill. In other words, Zach put him in a situation where he's got to kill somebody, and a lot of people don't want that at all. They do not want that thing. I assume that's the right take right there, right, Angus? Or
okay.
What he's saying.
Well, and what's interesting about it is, like in Man of Steel, so you got Superman kills Zod, screams, has a little bit of a meltdown, and then everything's fine.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That was our takeaway after watching it. That was me watching it for the first time recently. Yeah, I was like,
way back in the 90s. I'm going to date myself. So there was actually a storyline in the run of Superman comics where a General Zod from another dimension, another multiverse or whatever, ends up in Metropolis, and Clark executes him. And it was like the 3 Kryptonians from like Superman 2, like Zod and the other 2. And so Superman executes them with kryptonite that he gets from Batman. Right, because the only way to stop them, the only way to save his Earth, because they've destroyed their original Earth that they were from, and then Superman has a breakdown, and Superman started sleepwalking because of the trauma of breaking his moral code, and so he started sleepwalking, and he became like a masked vigilante at night, just kicking the snot out of like gangs and things like that. And for a while you thought it was a new character, and then it turned out it was Superman with this breakdown. And it's like, okay, consequence for breaking your moral code.
Yeah, like I think that is probably the biggest thing. It's like they should be dealing with it quite severely instead of nonchalantly.
Yeah, because the next movie, BVS, it's like he comes there, he's like, oh, don't do it, I'll shoot her. And then he just like gives that like smile or whatever to Lois, and it's like death. And it's like, that's not even like, he's just cool with it now.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
and,
that's
then,
the
and then
problem.
what stops him? And then you see him in the next movie. Then what stops him from doing it again?
Well, no, well, and it seems like even if he doesn't directly kill somebody, I feel like that Superman would be totally cool with letting somebody shoot somebody else in front of him because of how he acts in the BVS. Like, you'd be totally fine if a criminal's going to shoot another criminal. You don't give a shit. Like, but I feel like, he'd probably beforehand, he'd at least be trying to stop it or be feeling. I mean, that's the contrast with it. I think that that Zach did not do very well. Is you can have these situations. In fact, I want them to. Even the destruction of the city when he's doing that. I'm okay if you do that, but the character doesn't seem to give a. He does not care about it at all. He's just like, I'm gonna go destroy your your space thing you're following me with. I'm gonna tell you what to do. Kind of don't fuck around with me. And I'm gonna go sleep with Lois. And it's like, ooh, okay. I would think your reaction to the whole city being destroyed, you'd be like, I can't go to the Daily Planet. I've got to be trying to help rebuild the city that got destroyed and the whatever other places got destroyed on the planet. You'd be thinking that might be it. And if he doesn't,
2 drones.
No, and even then, even if he doesn't do that, like I can't be everywhere all the time, when I'm trying to be Superman, like have that be part of the struggle with his character and with other people in his personal life or something to have them want to spend time with him, but he's trying to save people. He's trying to have his own downtime to decompress after all. He's not a robot. He's got to still process. He's grown up as a human, so he's still got to process things like a human does. And so he can't just be on work mode all the day, even if his body can take it. His mind probably can't take it. And it's like, but Zach doesn't do that with the character to me. He just he ignores so many obvious things that would make what he did more justified and better for even the fans. Maybe as far as the fans that read the stuff, I actually don't know how most of them would feel with whatever. If the thing happened and that's it, you can never do it. Well, then you're kind of closed-minded to the idea because you got to see it maybe explored and see where they take it. That's how I'd take it.
Yeah. But well, even the scene when, like when Superman's in the court and the guy in the wheelchair has got a bomb in the wheelchair and everyone dies. Like it goes off.
Yes.
And he's just standing there in fire. And it's like,
this sucks.
It just sucks.
All right. This sucks. Yes. Thank you. Yes. No, Angus and I were annoyed. Well,
it's like, I don't know. Like maybe there's some survivors. Like
yes. We'd be trying to help people as much as possible. Yes. If anything, I was like, this is how people that hated the prequels probably wanted it to go. We're about to talk about politics, blow up, an explosion, and now ignore the politics. And I'm like, no, I actually want to have them discuss how he is on the nope, just gonna ignore that too. And it's like,
the ultimate cut is so frustrating because it's got so much good and so many cool ideas to play with, but it's just like I feel like it's not a concise film.
No. Oh, yeah. Well, and this is one of the things that just always drove me crazy about it too. Again, when you take the characters and you break some moral codes of who they are, because it's cool.
Right. Batman, it's not that Batman shot the flamethrower because that's like he's trying to hearken to Dark Knight Returns when he kills the guy with the kid.
Yeah.
It's the fact that before that, the guy whose whole life was changed, he is who he is because his parents were gunned down.
Yeah.
And then before something like that, saving the mom, and it's like no win, so he's got to kill this guy effectively. Fine. But before that, he is got, I assume, 50 cals on his car shooting goons, murdering them. And it's like, well, he didn't kill him. The guns shooting the car killed them. Like whatever rationale these weirdos make. And it's like, okay, like I get that Batman can utilize guns in a non-lethal way or whatever, or like in Dark Knight where he has guns to blow up cars or something, but it's not.
I could use my gun to shoot the gun out of your hand or something, like whatever. It's
the old day Punisher.
Yeah,
he's actually just a Punisher.
Before the miniseries, it's like when he was first introduced, he's shooting off Spider-Man's web shooters. It's like, dude, the guy's running around with a full arsenal, and that's what he uses the guns for, is shooting off Spider-Man's web shooters. Like,
I'm gonna read that soon. I found a random in a pull box. I found an old copy of Marvel, the gray banner around the original comic. I found one of those iterations. So I got the first appearance of Punisher.
Punisher on there,
I can't wait. Yeah, because I knew he started in Spider-Man, which is fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like Zach gets really cool and it's fun and his Batfleck looks awesome, but he misses. It was crazy because like you listen to that. I highly suggest listening to that interview because it's very insightful.
I'm definitely gonna give that a watch.
It's very insightful. It's only like 2.5 hours. It's a good listen. I'm listening to it at work, but yeah, having seen this stuff, it's like, and then you hear him talk about all this stuff in his deconstruction angle and stuff. And I really like that. Appreciate that. He was kind of a forefront for what something like The Boys could be now on film. Love that. But then he like he kind of doesn't really talk about Rebel Moon. He talks about maybe filming of it or like the workout stuff, but he doesn't really talk about Rebel Moon because I think he knows he made dog shit. He does.
Yeah, I didn't even see. After all the reviews came out, I was like, "Yeah,
yeah, good."
He does
I'll get to it
pitch.
eventually,
He does
maybe
pitch like
one day.
he does talk about the director's cut angle and stuff. How Y300 doesn't have a director's cut because, like, oh yeah, what you see like that is the film. Like, there's no extra because we were like a low budget film,
right?
At that point. And it's funny because like Army of the Dead's what helped him get that movie. It's like, well, if you can make anything, and he like points to the guy's book because the guy had 300 on his desk, the executive that he talked to.
Yeah.
So it was cool. He's like, yeah, we just film it, and he did like a test shoot, and he's like, yeah, if you can do it this way, cool. There's one outside scene, and that is the horses. That was filmed outside because they couldn't get them fast enough on film inside. It was very interesting. All around, he's got a real depth of knowledge about Sparta, which is cool because that's like my bread and butter interest. Very interesting interview. It's just unfortunate the stuff he makes. Wait,
well,
back
again, he sounded.
I saw him like it's Phoenix Jones if he tried to make his comic better, but it became worse than it already is. I don't know that character though. Phoenix Jones. Let me look that up.
Yeah, I don't know. But it seems like the way that Zach was commenting on there was like, if Batman can't kill, that's his rule. Well, I want to do that. My first thing. I understand that being what you want to do, but it sounds like he doesn't want to really explore it. He just wants to do it rather than like explore what that means. And I feel like that's where he fails. Is he just wants just like another way of saying he wants to do it because it's cool or because that's what they don't want it to be. I understand not wanting to be limited, but sometimes if that is the case, if you have to work in a limit of your character cannot kill somebody, that's a challenge to try to meet. How can you make it as exciting as you can or as thrilling as you can without breaking the rule that you're given to when writing it? Like that, you can make a really interesting story with that too, and still have something good come out of there.
Yeah, well, and even that short little clip that you showed. So here's the canon rule: you can't do this. And he gets all excited as soon as you tell me I can't do something. That's now the first thing I'm going to do. It's like, that's the way toddlers think.
Yes, it's like okay, take it. Now you have to be in depth.
Stick your hand in the fire. It's like,
you got to be in depth and follow it up. You don't just be like and Luke doesn't even return; he dies. It's like, okay, but like, what do you have as the nope? Whatever. It's just what happens. Okay, sure. People gotta think it through all the way to kind of make it meaningful with stuff. Story.
Well, and even like, again, going back to the Batman versus Superman, it's like you get all this build up. Martha's, Superman's mother is captured, and he goes, "I've got to convince Batman to help me." He's been pushed and pushed and pushed, and Batman's been pushed and pushed and pushed. Superman shows up. Batman throws all these weapons at him. They have no effect on him whatsoever. And then Superman throws the first punch.
Yeah.
Like, dude, what?
Well, he stands there and he gets kind of cocky. He throws him at some point and is like,
he shoves him.
Why are you even doing any of this?
You went to go talk to him. Nothing hurt you. You're fine. Now have your conversation and go save Martha.
Yes. So anyway, now that your bullets are out of ammo. All right. Anyway, as I was saying,
can we? Okay, you fired all your weapons now. Can we talk? I need help to save my mother.
I was gonna say, what if Superman picked up a human shield to talk to Batman with, but Batman's totally cool with shooting people, so I don't know if he would give a shit.
Yeah, this is the other clip that's going on. That's what I saw with Vex Electronica.
There was a scene that we did in that movie where
he's talking about Watchmen.
Because Rorschach's mom was a prostitute, right? So there's that scene where Rorschach's mom in the flashbacks, like, I should have had that abortion, right? And she slaps him in the face, right? Because he hears, Mom, is he hurting you? Like, because she's having sex with some John in there. And then she opens the door and she's like, you know, he's like, is he hurting you? I should have had that abortion, slapped him. And I had wanted the mother to be topless in that scene. And they were like, nah, like, you can't have. And it's cool because his mother was visiting set that day, and his mom was there, and she was like, oh, you're putting our son in a movie. Like, we weren't together at the time, his mom and I, but we're really close friends. But like, she was an actress, and I said, and they went, the only way that the woman could be topless is if it was actually his mom. And I was like, oh, I go, Denise. She's like, no chance.
That's terrible.
That's a weird rule. What?
You wonder why Christians go,
Why
"Oh
are
my
you mad
God,
at Zack
it's so
Snyder
nasty."
and not the film industry?
And say the film people, well, the only one that could be nude is the mother in front of the son. What? That's so
You know, it's crazy.
I think that's a little more emotional scarring, but
You know, it's crazy. Speaking of that, let me look this up.
The kid's like, I didn't ask for this. I'm just a kid actor. Screw you guys.
Making minimum wage.
Traumatize the kid forever. Even more so.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. That's funny.
Yeah. I'm gonna
That's
actually
funny.
to let you guys go in a couple of minutes. You have to
It's
run,
funny
but-
though.
Yeah.
You know Elizabeth Hurley, what
Yep.
becomes a fembot in Austin Powers.
Yeah.
So she's doing an erotic film that is made by her son.
See, that's just EBGBs.
Yeah, that is
don't
very
even
weird.
show me any clip. I don't want to see nothing. That's
No,
like,
I was just looking up. I'm like, wait, let me make sure I get this right.
I gotta
like,
tell him before he leaves.
like Antonio Banderas and Melanie Griffith's daughter, right? It's like she was in 50 Shades of Grey movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they're on the red carpet and they go to like, you know, Melanie Griffith, like, oh, did you see the movie? And she's like, no. It's like, why not? Aren't you proud of your daughter? And she's like, no.
No,
like,
thank you.
I'm like, good answer, Mom. It's like you don't want to go watch your kids in a movie like that.
You're watching art, Rev.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
So, anyway, I gotta run. But it was
Yeah,
great to
no, great. I love having
connect
you
with
on.
you guys again, and let's try to do this again soon.
Well, farewell, Kevin. I'm gonna kick you so we don't make you linger. Thank you for joining.
have a good one, man.
His link's in the chat earlier. Let's go sub to Rev Kev. He's doing some Dragonlance, it looks like, commentary. There's something I was gonna show. But let's go look at Katie's channel before I get out of here. So I'm gonna be leaving soon. Get ready for work.
Indeed.
Katie's Did's been doing great stuff as of late. Oh, that wasn't interesting. There's some man. There's some. Oh, wait. I know. I tweeted at because you mentioned Mark with a C. So I didn't realize he replied because I got a bunch of notifications from a tagged post. So let me see. Here it is. I thought you'd get a kick out of this. So you informed me about this infamous post of Mark with a C. He says, can I just tell the truth here? The fact he's a scrawny little man running across the battlefield, besting grown men is unbelievable as a scrawny little woman doing the same. All my men reading this. I ask you, is this a leader of men or a cabin boy? All right. And so I tagged him like, no one showed gospel this video. And it says natural strength versus gym strength.
I just see replays on first day.
No way!
Oh, it's not even a struggle, though.
Are you kidding me?
This video should be seen by every bodybuilder in the world. And it's so easy, though. My God.
He's doing the same number of reps as us.
With the same amount of struggle, too. But you could have done more reps.
Yeah, you're stuck.
I want to stop when the form goes down, kind of.
Wow, it's
Like, we're not exaggerating for the camera. It's like genuinely mind blowing. You're 165. You've never 160. Never done this in your entire life. A single rep.
Yeah.
And you just did the same working weight and reps as us with more range of motion and with good form.
And with what he just said he stopped and the form went away. Every bodybuilding coach in the world just wants to give you a hug right now. They're all just like, God, we love this.
Hats off to you, man.
That's funny. That's a good backhand to silly commentary like this with Mark with the C.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like his points. I feel like he's probably got a point that he's trying to make with this, but I don't know specifically with when he, because I saw his video on it and it just sounded like, I don't know, like, yeah, I get what he means. If we were to pick randomly, like your eyes are closed and then you pick, all right, who are you going to follow into battle? You know, the bigger guy or the scrawnier guy? Probably the bigger guy. But if you have any context of how they are,
I'd be like, fuck
how
you
they do
both.
whatever. I'd be like, I mean, I don't know, probably the one that can lead and has leader skills, because, you know, Rambo is a strong fighter, but is he even a good leader? I don't know. As a character,
I don't think so, especially in the later films.
He's a soldier who wants to fight. I don't know if he
one-man-
could lead a team. Like, you know, that'd be the difference there between these type of two.
Yeah, he's Rambo's actually a great counter, because especially the first film, they kind of carry it through the whole series, but especially the first film, it's like Rambo is a product of war that has no war to fight now.
Was even like more of a stealthy killer than like I'm just gonna go in and kill everybody killer. He's
SF guy.
He uses tactics rather than like I'm gonna just go in and fight. So I don't know. And again, I haven't seen Dune, so I don't know, or this part too. So I don't know what he's specifically referencing in terms of a battle. So I don't know how their fights are, if they shoot at each other, if they have sword fights or
also
fights.
He's
I
an
have
elite.
no idea.
He's an elite. Also in the first Dune, you know, the Arrakis, I can't remember what they call the people, but like the sand people, effectively, the natives, they're apparently like crazy fighters in the mythos. That's like the mystique around them. You know, and he bests them, you know, like he's earned his leadership through trial of combat, you know, under duress, not being long time on this planet, because he's an elite. He has access to a skilled trainer, you know, and also he's got education that the everyday soldier, it might be that bodybuilder, would not probably have. And you know, comes like the tact of you know, tactics and whatnot, cleverness, that also he's got the Bene Gesserits testing him at the beginning. It's like, hey, don't remove your hand or I'll kill you, and you have to endure the pain. So he's got like fortitude that you don't expect an everyday soldier to have. So there's a lot of context to undercut this silly argument of like, well, he's not a brawny man, so fuck him.
Well, it just seemed to be his original tweet is, would you follow the stronger one in the battle or the skinnier one? And it's like, I don't think that's not the situation though. So what do you mean? Like the character, there's context for why they follow him, I assume. Right.
Well, you know, that argument is like Marine mentality. There's a great video, or maybe it's a slideshow of from Iraq, the invasion era. Marines are fucking retarded. They're great, you know, bullet catchers, because they got this like brawny man battle Spartan mentality that they're taught, you know, they're hellhounds or whatever. But they're dumb, you know, that kind of ideology creates a lot of chum in the water, so to speak. Essentially, there's 3 Marines. One gets hit by a sniper, and the next fucking Marine just runs out. He gets hit by a sniper. And the third Marine like takes a step and he's like, wait a minute. So like, that's what that mentality gets you, is shot. You know, that's a great lesson. It's like this ideology of like, oh, he's not a strong man. It's like, yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of people brought up, you know, or they didn't bring up in this, but I think of The Last of Us when that was around. Everybody hated how the Kathleen character was the leader of that town when there was a like muscular Marine guy that was following her. But it's like, I don't know. Again, the context
He's Rambo. He's not a leader.
The context they provide made total sense. He just wants to do what he's good at, and that is, killing people, probably following, search and whatever. He'll take an order, and that's fine. She is the sister of a guy who everybody really liked, and when he died, she had the biggest passionate probably speech, and started the revolt, and they're going to listen to her. They were only around for 2 weeks before they got killed all anyway because of her leadership and ignoring the real threat underneath them. So it didn't matter anyway with that. But people, there are situations where people will follow the scrawnier person over the more muscular person. That is a real thing that they'll do, and it's not the same as like a girl thing or something like Mary Sue Ray or something. Like that's not. These are very different. I don't know. These are very
great
different.
examples. Sports. All right. Doug Peterson. He won a Super Bowl with Philly. 2017. Guess what his career was? He's a career backup for Brett Favre, for Donovan McNabb. He started on the Browns a little bit because the Browns suck and they're always going through quarterbacks in their history. Tom Brady. He's arguably the greatest quarterback ever, given all the Super Bowls. He won 7 out of 10 Super Bowl appearances. He's all-time great. The hardware. Guess what? He's becoming a commentator on Fox. He's not a coach. Isaiah Thomas, Hall of Famer. He sucked. He got fired from the Knicks. Never did anything with them. Phil Jackson's kind of like the one outlier. I don't know what his stature was in basketball. He played basketball, right?
Which one?
Phil Jackson played.
Yeah,
right?
I think so. Yeah, I think
the Knicks.
Yes, I think so. One of those teams.
Who did?
I forget what team he was on, but yeah, I think
Phil
he played basketball.
Jackson play for. He played for the Knicks for 11 years. Won a championship in 1970. So he's like the one outlier I can think of like this guy won a Super Bowl. He's been on the field and it translated to leadership to coach a team to win a Super Bowl. It's very different from, Michael Jordan, all-time great, owns a team or did own a team. He's not a coach because he doesn't know how to teach fundamentals.
Like there's a difference in leading, and then
he's a leader of the team on the court, but he's not a leader. Coaching.
He can't turn a team of losers into winners because he was able to do it himself. Like.
Yeah, this whole mentality of like, oh, the Bronny, it's the same idea. It's like, yeah, there's a reason why, like, what's his name? Tony Dungy. He's won a few Super Bowl or 2 with the Steelers. He was a backup quarterback and a backup cornerback. He only lasted in the league like 5 years. He got cut, I think, by Bill Walsh, the Niners. Might have been the year before Walsh came there, but yeah, he got cut and he just retired. And then he started working the coaching ring. He built a Super Bowl worthy team with the Buccaneers, and he built a Super Bowl winning team with the Colts. But didn't really pan out as a player. I think he's one of the only guys to have a interception and throw an interception in the NFL. But yeah, it's like some of the best coaches are nowhere near the best players because like they maybe hung around in the league. They know the game and they can teach it because they lingered as a backup because they had to be a fundamental based player. These X Factor guys, these monoliths in their respective fields, they're not leaders in a intensive way.
They usually have a part to play, usually by somebody who's smarter than them. Which are usually people who make the best leaders, or even people who have the most experience sometimes can, but sometimes they're not good at conveying the same thing to everyone else. So they could be really good, but just not be good at
Leonidas. Even though the Spartans were arguably the best warriors ever in history, the effectiveness of their stand at Thermopylae was smarts. Persia, pound for pound, they were throwing hundreds of thousands of people at these guys. And it was only through, dishonor ultimately and surrounding them that they beat these guys. So it's like, in that fight, the Spartans were like the little underdog and they made a great stand for a while because of smarts. not Vlad the Impaler. He was fighting an army 3 times his size, but he had the smarts of knowing his enemy and home field advantage, and he decimated the fucking Turks invading.
Well, and it's like, I don't know much about Joan of Arc, but I assume that that's an example in history where a female that would be considered weaker did things that inspired men. Like, if this woman's taking up arms or doing something, I assume there's situations that can happen where you follow somebody who isn't a big muscular person. Like that would make sense, right?
Yeah, it's such a knuckle dragger fucking take. Especially when you're like a Star Wars fan, and like one of the big iconic moments is, I can't do this, too big. And it's like, size matters not. Like that is a life lesson that people live when they see Star Wars. They take that clever approach into mind.
Because otherwise it'd be like they should all be following Chewbacca otherwise to lead the rebellion. That's what the idea sounds like.
Yeah, Chewbacca. I mean, yeah, he can rip people's arms out and shit. He's not the fucking leader at all.
Nobody's gonna lead. Nobody's gonna follow him. Like,
yeah,
even though he's experienced as well, nobody knows what he's saying because he's the strongest guy out there. Doesn't mean that's the way he follows.
That'd actually be funny. I wish there was a moment where it's like, what? Huh? What's the guy trying to tell me?
He's got to go take a poop.
Anyway, thank you all for hanging out. Early edition of All American Beef. I gotta go to work. Unfortunately. I'll probably do a double shift if they allow me. So maybe I'll see in the chats tomorrow of biggest problem in the universe. Gonna be a great show. I don't know if they have a guest. Hopefully not. The shows always suck when they have guests versus when they're solo. So pray to God there's no guest. It's like the one show. It's like the guests really ruin the show.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for joining. Look forward to seeing you next week. I might be on Friday night or Saturday streaming. We had a scheduling problem with the Hell on Heels guy, and might be trying to get Dave Brink on of Perfect 10. He's got, I think, issue 4 out. Got a hardcover edition. Looks awesome. I got the first 2 books. I need to actually go back and I read the first one. It's like, okay, cool, and didn't follow through. So I might do that tonight actually at work. But thank you for joining. Go sub to the Rookie Critic. Go sub to Rev Kev. Go sub to Tim's Talk, my mod buddy. And don't stop detracting. Farewell. Ha.